Okay, so what's the software? Is it?
No, this is installing that recording. Yeah.
So you won't have to.
Right now.
We play a couple of games, so it's up, you just check it. This
camera or that camera, where it's focused is good to do that way. But we still can't use your camera because it's still not on. I'll minimize it.
I'm sitting there.
We have
Yes, you can.
and not only that, I have all their info in our database.
You know what? Okay, so we know this after the when you do, you let me know. Put you back in the game. Your team players, our friends. Let's bring it all around on the flying against the left so we can get in and get out of here. We're casting this again. We don't have, as you well know, we do not have the bylaws. We don't have the ability to use this webinar. At least it's not clear in our bylaws. Let me put it that way.
It's just that you have to attend.
It's intended, so we don't have that defined, but I think that's one thing we change this. If this continues to work, we've 5 more months. We're going to do it every month, and we're doing it until it's at a professional level where someone can actually tune into this and get it, listen to it, and get all the information from it. As we, what's all coming in here is absolutely insane. Some of us have to be together. 40 of us don't. So we just keep shooting it. And we've got to learn, I think, from this and myself, mostly, how to pace so that it's simple for people to see, understand, so we're not told. First of all, we don't talk over each other. That gets confusing. But we're going to keep at it until until it works, all right? And we'll be able to sign in remotely, and that will get past a lot of this stuff. If you want to come, of course, you're always welcome, I guess, depending on how we end up hosting. Show down here with the agenda, but normally we start off with the president's.
There's the agenda.
Okay.
Secretary.
Oh, can we record this one also?
This is being recorded.
Okay, good. All right. Well, we'll have the recording. This was, because we were really not, December, we didn't have a meeting, although we held one, and we did best. The video was good, I hear, but the audio was not. But the record is in there. Our time has expired. We bought a certain amount of time on another system. We system, Linda does, and I trust Linda, 90% of the way. This probably superior, can do everything the other system can do, and we'll be, we'll have it down by the time this comes around. So we'll have a recording of this. This is the president's, the president. One wanted to reiterate, I think I spoke to the one fellow earlier, going to get this done. I don't care. I think Linda probably has 90% or 99% information we need right now to get properly. The question we had is, will it work in this building? We had problems with the stability of the signal. We used Frank's phone last time as a hotspot. So all that, and we may look sort of 5-mile radius of the airport, so that the people who do have to come and meet, in fact, we may look at it and find that that's even not the best spot. But we'll locate it permanently somewhere. We've had 2 offers right now. I haven't gone to find them. Maybe we'll get a direct line or dedicated line of some sort that goes in there that gives us the place with stable bandwidth that we need to do this. Like stable bandwidth don't come out of my mouth that easily. Yes. So, all right. The approval of November and December's minutes. December we don't have minutes from because it wasn't, in our opinion, a feed, even though we had a quorum, executive session.
November minutes that are posted?
Yes. Questions about them? Anybody have any questions about what we've done up to this point, as a matter of fact? Sherry had a very long appointment today, apparently, and she's on her way, so she'll when we get here.
Here's the November minutes.
If not, we'll take the names down.
Chair, oh, no, November.
Yeah, I was going to say.
2012, no, we don't have November minutes. Nope. That isn't right. You found something for it, too. James Peterson. This November was not there, and so it was not a WebEx, it was something else, but that's okay. And then it was the WebEx. It was something else.
Refers to these, the last new business refers to our executive session and
Yeah, that is, yeah.
where we, you know, and I'm not apologizing for this, it's the nature of the beast. We contact or communicate with you, which is stupid, but that's all we can right now. It was negative. The only thing you hear from us is things that are asking about a coach frazzle and out, referees getting, threatened, kids with cuts having fights, things that are extraordinary that we're hoping you'll look into and just see what exactly is going on. Always the written report, the official report from a referee, and occasionally, like we have it this month, report from the marshal that's there. But that's all we have. After that, it's everybody, he said, she said, she did this. So for us, it gets lost, the preponderance of information that we've got that we can substantiate that this is what went on. The fact of the matter is, and all you know it, and I didn't realize the extent of it, but I experienced it also. We've got strange things going on in the fields that we've got to stop. We've got to take some of the anger out of this. We've got to start realizing that we're not enemies. And then the kids that come into those to play, they are not enemies of the people that are there. They're so, and as soon as we start to lower that, the level of, and it's not just us, it's not just our sport, but we have to try and do a better job ourselves from a club standpoint, to the coach, the referee, because that's where a lot of it can end right at the coach. Coach can stop things right there and take a lot of the heat out of it. If they're good at it, they're managed well. You got to lose in this court right away. You've got a problem because the parents see him, the kids see him, and they think, well, he's doing it, I can do it. And that's where something strange is going to happen. And we've had some stuff now. According to their hands, to Frank and Linda, this is not unusual, which really is probably even more troubling. That there's a normal season, the mayhem going out there is normal. But to some degree, we've got to get that under control. Attack it in the bylaws. We're going to set up a couple committees. One will come up with some bylaws that stop people that are continually doing that. Now that we've got soccer, we have a good balance. We've got a lot of information we can draw up real quickly. I like you saying, didn't they get into something last season, those guys, and you can't remember what it was. Now we can pull up exactly the reports, go over that, and guys that are having problems repeatedly, coaches that are having problems repeatedly, and in my opinion, when it's up to us, it's up to the board of directors, which is you guys, to those clubs somewhere else until you learn how to run things where it is. Until your club learns how to get things under control, play somewhere else. Do something else, and it's inevitably until we look at statistics, we can't really tell who it is. We've all had things boil over. All had things boil over on our fields that were not our fault. That we could only try and get things back and get back under control. But one is that week in and week out, that's nothing wrong there, and there's some leadership or some belief problem. So let's keep going.
Okay, you should pitch.
Great. And now, can you move from that picture to your
Go back and
fill
forth.
around with it? All right. Let's go back to the agenda on this.
Agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we're doing it, but because we did not have the camera set up early, I'm back and at it now,
Cool.
but I can go back and forth.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Otherwise, it'll be part of the direct WebEx.
All right, now the treasurer's report.
Long statement for December, and, the consolidated to $1,247. $900 of that is the year contract with WebEx, what we're using.
Okay, what it'll cost, that's our
About a year.
to rent bandwidth, is that
The program, it's not the bandwidth.
okay,
You keep talking bandwidth, it's not that.
I love that word.
The program that you're using, it's the service, it does the registration, it has the hosting on their website where the recordings are going to be held. That's where it's being recorded now. And then we can download it and move it whenever we want. We do have a minimum right now of storage for the recordings, but we can either purchase more or we can just plain move them. You can download them at any time.
All right.
All kinds of other stuff, I'm not going to go into details. That's what that is. And there was something else, but I can't remember what it was. Anyway, the hearing was nearly $100, so there's more to go there. Resident traffic, we spent $8,000 in December. Let me go back to the other one. And then we have $208,000. I've already sent to the issue for the 1099. Kathy contacted me this morning. She's got it, so she's sending them out. But you'll get paid for December once I verify I've got everybody's in it. Yes, we got the right number of days. So that's it.
99s. Frank, were you the one that told me that they were going to require 1099s? Now that was FYI they wanted to, or that was their
Next year they'll start. They're doing it now. Okay, Coral is doing it. I believe their referees. But they're going to probably 2014, 2015.
And God has all the data necessary. It's all being collected. Any referee that's assigned to Got Soccer, the information's right there for a 1099.
I forgot
And we don't have a clue who they are or what they are.
Okay.
They're requiring all local clubs to sign.
Those old believe me, I want to do that,
But
so,
it needs to be done now.
oh, yeah.
Mary would know the background check,
Mhm.
go below, well.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, yeah, just say it for the record here.
Because I still feel like we're not watching Auburndale close enough.
Oh, yeah, I agree. We
Okay.
need- there are
All the
many clubs.
information's coming from.
Yeah, but let's hold it one at a time,
I'm in total agreement with David.
Here's the other downfall. You got one club in Polk County, where these kids that are on, their kids are on Medicaid, stamps like that. The kids in 99 is going to affect.
Well, I think we're going to need to have, looking at a 1099 very closely too. If you take a look at the IRS, the IRS rules, there were some limitations. It's got to be over $600, for instance. So, I mean, that's the start of where they manage themselves at some point, potentially. And we're not even positive that again, that referee define the 1099 definition of a 1099 employee matches our referee exactly either. I know that's, if I'm not mistaken, there's a club in New York it's in Liz Point that their argument is they don't match, they're not a 1099, they're a contract employee, so it's 99 is not necessary.
Why does it say, is it FYC doing it?
It's USFS, it's where it's starting from the federal now.
So, there's USU. And the reason for that?
I wouldn't know, and I am not able to get to that level.
That's just not going to help. I mean, I got referees with me now that they only go to a certain amount of money, especially now, and they don't want to work. They don't want to make any more money than $600 because they'll have to report. And
Exemption. I don't know if it's.
exemption for older people, yes.
Because my son is a college student, and he does a lot of the Zoom, and he wrote down an example. He's a college student.
He's a college.
I don't know what the law is. I'm not a CPA.
Right.
I have no clue what it is for minors and how it is. As David said,
Now, would that mean that they would not be paid cash?
no, they would be, the clubs that are doing it now are doing it by check or payment.
Well, that's
And it's a deposit.
and the problem.
Well, I'm going to say, we aren't adopting that, but last meeting, we were made aware that that's, somebody's recommending it.
I know. Those are things that come from the top.
No, I know, I got you.
Down on the bottom. No, I know.
The thing is, that's not us at USA, we do not pay the referees.
Right.
So everyone knows, and I think Linda pointed this out a long time ago. Referees are the club's referees, they're not ours. We can help, and I think Frank's got some ideas that make sense to try and get some 40 standards from the referees. But again, they're not our referees, we don't pay them. So we've got to step back there and understand what USA does, and the referees are not USA's.
Okay, for what about God soccer? Right? And you see that
It's the data, but until such time that somebody wants to use the data, it just sits there.
Right.
And all that is keep a track of how many games a referee has done. So that's it.
Yeah, and that's just to help. We've got not careful. We just got to be aware of USA is one thing, another, and the clubs pay referees, and the referees come from the clubs. USA has not referee. We signers, and that's it. The only guys that we have any contact with are the people that sign the games, not the referees.
However, when it comes down, from them, it will be the event, the scheduling body will be the one that will have to record it. So that means Region Cup would be done by Region Cup, State Cup by State Cup. League, it would be the league, because the league is the scheduling body. That's the way they're going to come down.
I get $4.29 a year.
And you get one from us.
You want a couple from me.
And that's the same way it's going to be from the referee, not because the assigner is employed by the event.
Yeah, let's wait till all that, I mean, let's not get ahead of
I think
ourselves.
it's gonna be an issue.
No, I don't think it is.
It's not gonna be an issue for
Because the
referees. I think we're getting way ahead of ourselves, because if it's not reported, and how, I just concerned about, but I wouldn't be over it.
Just so we know that there's something out there, again, if we have to get, in my opinion is, if we don't have to get involved in that end of it, that's another thing, that's another thing. Well, we're forced to, for some reason, we'll that bridge when we come to it. Administratively, we have I think we almost have the muscle to do it. I think to mention, but, whether we want to or not, it's another whole thing, and where that brings us. But it just points out that this, not soccer and everything else are coming. We've got to figure out how to get right with software in some way or shape or form. You can see what we've got. Can you get back to your the balance sheet there?
It's next week or what, there's a convention in Philly,
Yeah, so
the states will be done, and we'll have more information after they come back and it trickles down.
get an email on that every day.
$200,000 as of December 31st. We spent $8,000 a month when we're season. As you get toward April, it goes down to with the exception of Jim Jones. So $1,000 just for administrative and meeting space and other ongoing things. So.
They were supposed to. Oh, yeah, they looked at the aggregate weight of the people come into this thing and decided that we needed less carbohydrates and more air. Well, we're trying to encourage people to come to them, actually. We're hoping that this will, we don't want much to eat too much. Someone's got to watch our weight. Yeah, you young guys are fine. All right.
That's it. Any other questions on the balance sheet and the treasurer's report?
You know, I'm Dutch, so I mean, Linda's worse than I am as far as that goes. You know, what things we should be spending it for that we will get to this year. You know.
I knew this was new. I mean, schedules are locked. Yeah, we know that.
Well, let's go back to the agenda and let's just work our way down. Secretary's report, Eric's not here, but again, it's anything except maybe the minutes. And the minutes should appear again recorded in this WebEx. So if anybody says them, they can catch up whatever they need to. Carlos isn't here. Carl is not here. That is why we should be on the web. Frank, I mean, just gave one of the startling things, but anything else? Any other?
No, for the sake of expediting the meeting, there's nothing.
Well, the referee, the ideas you have for the referees we'll get to when you got it more fleshed out.
Yeah, once I sit down with Mike Mickelberg, and I'll see him this weekend.
President, I've got nothing other than what we just, what we discussed up front. Old business schedule, new business. Credit card site.
Oh, yeah. That's here. This was on the 6th, which is just a couple of days ago. I sent out an email saying we're going to discuss these. If you're on here. That, and he will stay on there until the service.
Okay, well,
Who's this? And we can go and probably send the email you will send.
There's something on Bosho Mike. Well, that's not good.
Okay, you would have emailed me about that, like everybody else did, because then I've done the research before the meeting. I will do the,
Yeah, but we should be able to find that.
it was back when Dave Orris was doing it. I mean, it's been posted since then. So it should address, well, you don't have to get contact. When a coach said, whenever he tells the coach out of here, he knows he has a game to
He never come to me and he's not dead. Stop.
just don't get carded. You get ejected.
You should know that.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
on Saturday, that's not an issue. I just want to make sure we go through the right steps to make sure that.
Put it on the game report, so it's.
I mean, I looked it up and find out what it is. I can't do it right now. Because I got to find what event it was in since it was here. But when coach is ejected or was ejected, Barry sends an email out to everyone in the club, shoots to the coach, a copy so we know what was said. So there's probably 15 emails go out to like 15 different people. But that could have been done by David Orris. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'll try to look into that one. Merrick Bosho. If there's anybody else, I have a couple that.
Does the title affect Region Cup and?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are maybe you want something?
We've let this turn on. The club would want him to have free reign to go somewhere else, even though they put 6 games without him. They have to play somewhere else because he just quit the team. So he stay here. Everybody's going to stay here till we get proof that they sat out. Because if they go from club to club, they don't have to sit it. If they're not registered, we're knocking it down. When they get to, they've aged out of soccer, we're going to remove them. But we want them to stay on there. Because there's a kid here now that's in Ancient City, who's in B3. He should have sat out the card. But he moved. And that's why I say responsibility there. When we saw the list and said, here's outstanding, last year when Chip sent it to him, it's too bad. We're not going to do anything with it. You need to tell people about it.
Off on the age out. We got one.
Yeah, they turn 20. When they're no longer eligible for U19, we're taking them out. No, they're not registered with you. If they're registered, you need to make sure they sit out. So as we go on down, I've got Brooke Cutting here at Braden River. She got the card at Minnesota. She went to Braden River. Braden River has not given us game report showing she sat out this year.
Because she not sat out. When they resume the season in the spring, she will.
Oh, that's what I needed to know, because she transferred to Braden River.
On the under 18 teams, so I have to wait.
Right, should have sat out. She not. She didn't. I just want to know. They the game that she played when she should have sat out.
She's gonna sit out?
Yeah.
I believe it.
I think John Nobles, they got the game report turned in to this we've not heard back under Kingwood. Now registered with West Florida Flames. We've got this kid with Wesley Chapel, haven't heard back from them. If they're not registered, they're not registered. So nothing to do about it. Some coaches down here. I mean, these are fairly. If they're 17s and 19s, and the game was in September or October, they probably haven't played since then. With young kids that have gotten cards, which surprises me. And we've not heard about Abe. I don't know how to pronounce that, but he's now at Cape Coral.
He's not coaching with us. his daughter plays on one of our teams, so.
He's listed as an actor. Okay, so he didn't sit it out?
I had one game when he was still with the Strikers, with their standing, but since he came to our club, we will not put him on that.
Gotcha, all right, but he's still.
He still owes you,
Yeah, that's good, no, that's fine.
he's not coaching the.
That's what we needed to know. The guy that's at Ancient City with the 3-game abuse of language. We just suspended and that's it, okay. But we need everybody to be looking at this, and if you see somebody playing that's on this list, you need to let us know.
I think can ask you a dumb question, but I probably should know the answer to. But in light of what you're saying, when does the player have to sit?
The next FYSA game.
Very next sanction, FYA.
For what? For what? Yeah, exactly. For what?
The team that played that player is guilty of playing an ineligible player.
They are trusting that that's fine.
I didn't say that.
No, but I agree. I mean, technically, all those games would be forfeit.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a list like my coach, middle of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Being on Saturday, just so you know.
It's also subject to review.
It's on the game report. Kevin, please document it.
I mean, we just posted and we sent it out,
So we will be very happy to give him back the game report, and let him write his name in there. Don't till it's done. Yeah. And once you sign it, it's too late.
Okay. Get these put up. Next is agenda. It'll be Joan Judd. Discuss scholarship now. I have to figure it, but I'll figure it out.
Judge started off, I mean, I was there when we started it. It was, I think this year we had players, something like that, they got $500 each. That was pretty good back then. Like we had 60 at 500. Our thoughts, some of us are thinking, I think this needs to be hacked out, executive committee, and then we'll come to you with it. $100 is diffuse. It's just like a thank you for 60 kids for playing. They bought a few of the kids that played in USA $500. Some considered that we might want to keep close the same amount, maybe some less or more, but make more directed that it really is a $500 now in my books. I mean, it's not nothing. But right now, the way books are, books won't even cover a semester of books at a normal university, state university. Frank has pointed out that it's a little bit sticky to try and get too much, and in what form, because it comes off of other financial, it might be reducing somebody's other financial arrangements, so it will be a net positive for them if that's the case. I think we need to come to the committee and probably a vote to see whether we want to bring the amount up and reduce the amount of people that get it, but get it to somebody that's that is a fairly headback for it, that is a real aid to the here, because that's what we're talking about here. That'll be a real shot to get into the university and pay their room and board, or whatever it is, for a year. Okay, I understand there were work around a number of things. I also had problems identifying in the time we're working, we're actually going to go to school. If they're accepted, with that, the point they're getting the money, some of them may have not yet decided or made a final choice. So you're giving $500 out and maybe going, for gas to drive around the state and, look at manatees or something. But the fact is, a few of us, three of us that I know of right now, have thought, geez, why make it more directed and larger, have some impact that really might change somebody's life, rather than kind of a gratuitous throw money out the window and everyone out there get it, which is, again, not wrong with that. They're all kids that played for us and everything else. I just, we could go and put this together in a more defined way and have an impact on 3, 4 kids, where $5,000 a year or whatever it happens to be got them a start. Things are tough enough. And then maybe we do that effectively or elegantly, I don't know. But that's in this Joan Judd thing. I think that's where some of us have quite about the methodology of the. We've got a good. There's a committee apparently. I understand that was formed in the Joan Judd. And it was the guys that were there at the time on the board of directors, a few of them anyway, who are the committee that chooses them. As far as giving them the paradigm with what we want to have, what we want to make, I think we can, the current executive committee and then the directors can, give them direction. If it's going to be $5,000 grants, it's going to have, in my opinion, more direct influence on somebody's maybe ability to get in. Once they get in, maybe they'll find ways to pay for it, find a place next year. That grant isn't going to get them through college either. Well,
there are people that do not get it, and the committee goes through it.
yes. In the past, like I said, we had only started with 8, I think. So there were a number of kids that didn't get it. Want it to be, and if that's what we want to do, if anybody that can fill out the papers that's played USA, we'll give them $500, then that's something we need to figure out. And its impact might be more of a totally. Yeah, a lot of money, not that we should not worth that, but there's a lot of money directed at that already, not agree with you, that's probably seeing the minimum on anyway. The thing here is we just want to open it up. We think it's not like we want to at least examine it. If we come back to what we're doing, that's okay. I know at least 3 of us, and that's 3 out of the 3 I spoke to about it, that talked to me about it, on the executive board, felt, well, why don't we think about something? Why don't we think about a way of directing this? Now, Frank's pointed out a lot of the pitfalls, and he's right about every one of them. So take a little thinking if we want to do it that way. But it seems to me that actually helps somebody. Might give somebody a bootstrap to get them. So 2 people at $10,000. I don't know. Whatever we want to put in. And it may impact somebody's life in a more direct way. Eventually. I've got the list of kids here, and they're all wonderful kids, but there's I guess 60 or so right on this list. 62 kids, $500 each, or that's from last year. That's last year, and that's where it grew to. And look, it's because you see what's in the bank. I mean, that's what happens.
Why don't you have a budget of like $50,000 or whatever, and get those representatives to send it in. And if it's people, then it's 5,000. If it's 20 people, then you just split it up that way.
Well, apparently, I mean, this is
If there are 2 people you want to give it to, then it may be 5 really good people, and people will be, you know what I mean?
It doesn't impact my life. I'm just thinking, we were thinking when we looked at these lists, and this has grown. I mean, they grew from, like I said, 8 kids to 60. That's fairly diffuse. I mean, it's just throwing $500 at someone because they filled out a piece of paper. Another, if it's your kid, that's $500. It still helps with the books, but it isn't going to change anything. If you think you take these scholarships or fellowships or grants or whatever you want to call it, and give a kid enough to really give him a pole vault over a bar that he can't get to himself, it based on income grades and I don't know how long they played. Who knows? But I think USA can it was a great idea when we did it. We have in the early days to do well, and I'm not certain we will in the future if we're still out on the red card. Listen, I'm still on.
Exactly.
Let's have that poor girl from
Yeah. That means at the time when they do the grant.
Right. So I think that's the idea we've gotten, and I think we need to come to a conclusion right now as to whether we want to look into that around and have an answer in 4 days.
We have application up.
Well, we should, yes. Yeah, we should.
We have the application up.
After
procedures and all that, because it has to be, we have the closing date sometime in March, and it's January. I mean,
Well,
we don't have time.
you put an application up without specifying. In other words, you can say, look, the grants are specified. Never specified that everybody that fills one out is going to get it. So the application is one thing. The grant is another. They're two separate issues as far as I'm concerned. Applying is good. We get information we want to get. But we take what we want to do. I think at least 3 of us, maybe more. I don't know. I think we should examine this and take a look at what do you guys? I mean, what do you think out there? You are dealing with kids in that age group now, right?
We were just saying that there's less players. If you say on athletic ability, there's less players on the USA League and on good game college spots. But there's other things like the background and all that kind of stuff.
Never been athletic ability as far as I know. And if you look at the app, do you have an application you can put up there?
Last year's, I'll pull up last
You
year.
can look at it. It's not. It's really was designed for kind of our kids. Now that was in the era. Don't forget, everybody played USA, so there wasn't any question about scholarships. What you don't want to, I mean, if someone's got a $20,000 grant aid, and like Frank is, you're going to give them 5, and they're going to reduce it to 15, and we're not.
Okay, here's what we've asked for before. I mean, we're going to change this bit about in a binder in mails. It's going to have to be electronically submitted. There's no doubt about that. That way, Sharon and I can determine if they played USA League, not have somebody, which has happened. Somebody was awarded a grant, and they didn't even play USA. So, okay, we're going to check all that out before it goes to the committee. Also, as far as when it comes in, because last year there were 7 that came in at the deadline that got the award. So we're to remove the application of them to enter. So they enter after the deadline. These things, now we do ask for the GPA, we do ask for the ACT and SAT, the recognition, all that stuff. The only question that we had, that was because of those late applications, was a document.
A letter of acceptance from the school.
Right.
Because, my son goes to St. Leo. He did not receive his letter of acceptance, even though we had paid the $500 stipend to administration. And he didn't get it until after, although he had paid for the application and paid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The only thing I would suggest is that we've got this budgeted now. I recommend that we put a committee together, leave this as it is this year, for the committee to bring it to the membership at the AGM, and have membership either on what changes we need to make. Because we budgeted X amount for this year, for this 8 weeks before. I hope that would be.
What's the budget, Frank?
What did we this year?
No, let's see, what's on the budget? budget anything?
Yeah,
we budgeted, I think.
If you change it to the number of people,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
yeah, that's what we're talking about.
$500.
And maybe what it's called as far as an official thing, as far as how you give them.
It was 12 to 16.
This way, and I think that
13 will work.
would know, and so would, Kai, it, as a grant,
There it is.
it's not going to affect them, would have so, because I've already got the notice from your school.
We've got
Make sure you have your FAFSA, and I haven't done my taxes yet.
Yeah, it's 30,000 right now, and that is 60 like last year. That was the last
That's
year.
what we use for that.
It was 30 grand, which is, as I said, so you got 30 to use. There's no on there that says why we give the money or how much we give. So the application itself, even though I think it's a bit, thick, and when I financial information there, which is another component of this, I guess that we don't, that's difficult to extract. It's difficult to check. It's do matter some. Maybe not more qualifiable math, but we've got to come up with some paradigm. Like I said, if we got you've got a male, female, and if you've got each, you've got.
I don't think we can determine male, female.
No? Why not?
It's open to all players.
Well, you don't think you can give it in 2 and 2? You don't think you can balance it, that it would be legal? Well, we must have 10 lawyers in the organization. Read the emails more than that didn't go to law school. But we'll check that and see if, revocacy, because if you end up with 4 guys or 4 girls with some choice, then, somebody may feel they're put their nose on a joint. I Title IX thing, sports, I don't think that probably affects us, but.
And I recommend that we keep it as a grant.
Yeah.
That does anything that's right to it, doesn't report it to financial aid, doesn't have to report it to anybody. And that's my big quirk. They don't have to report it to anybody.
To the scholarship.
Right. Okay. And I just had a huge argument with one of the regional vice presidents over that, as far as, scholarship, make it a grant. Finally, just speaking with a couple of attorneys, he came back and said, yes, it'll be a grant, because it's a check handed.
Well, that's it. What we'll do is I'll this week I'll gather, say 5 of us, and we'll get around and come up with some idea. But that's basically so you guys understand. Get some input that would help to say, well, here's the idea. More $7,500, let's say, for it is more something for 8 ways. But have something that makes sense. Again, if that's not what we're doing, we want to spread it out, then that's what we do.
Yeah, aren't we trying to elevate the US? Aren't we to give them some value as to playing for us and why you play for the league? And give them something to and strive for, as opposed to just throwing money out there.
Well, so that would give you a fighting and they'll have a higher amount with less kids.
I mean, I would think that, it should be something that people talk about. Without the grants that we give away.
I just had to send $3,800 to St. Louis. And then more. The honors program with all these academics.
That's where the 2 questions get how your input as an S, you're the board of directors, if you look at the bus. So that's what we're asking is, so in a sense, I mean, you've got kids going off to school, how about it?
Well, kids who have played right through.
That's reward. Yeah.
Staying at USA.
But that's sometimes don't determine that. Yeah. Sometimes they don't determine.
But I mean, that's should be nothing but the parents' choice, and the yes understand the cost.
It's the coach's choice.
I mean, you can play 5 years, let's say it's 5 years. You can play 4 years of USA, and all of a sudden it's a team that you're on, but decides to go to the NPL league. Well, there's nothing you can do about it.
Just have a true.
No, I understand, but and they still play Spain in the USA. That should be, so they leave.
The NPL league, or I don't know. You want to work with
Well,
That's the risk.
maybe 4 to 5 years, maybe a minimum 4 years from 14 on or something.
Also, the wording is that a question on the, application, was that those people we give out here, scholarship,
They have to play this year.
They have to play this.
Yeah.
and I only play 1 year, and how about other kids playing 5 or 10 years?
Well, then that would be part of the.
That would be a good
Yeah,
way to
that's
do that.
updated on the application, how
I
many
like that.
Per year, perhaps, then. You know,
I think it'll be UAA, more you can get. It's verifiable.
Very verifiable.
It will be verifiable, yeah.
My situation with this, I'm associated with Cape Paul.
Yes.
4 years ago, USA would not reciprocate travel. So therefore, Cape Paul went to the last 2 years that my daughter played, we did play up here, and she was one of the 2 from our team that got the grant. That's right. So, you know, I guess it goes back to, you know, it's choice, what league they can play in. I mean,
Correct. Well, but if you did play in USA,
you know, obviously they got to play.
So that's the reward for some kids paid 9 years.
I don't know.
Not that they shouldn't get anything, but if you take a whole from U to U19 USA,
you'd make that rather than 4, you'd make that a rate of, if we had,
You end up with 4 anyway.
there'll not be that many kids that go right way through every year to make any work to play in USA. Probably not.
we have a database that can check it.
Graduated.
One thing the life in our youth.
I can go.
Where they have to.
Right now, we've got soccer, you know, we're dealing with got soccer, can go back probably 4 years. We're getting the database now to be able to see. Got soccer is a tremendous amount of data.
We could have premier grants and then.
Do a 5,000 for 1, 3 for 2, for 5.
I think we're going to put that. I think there's going to be a reward for being a USA.
Well, it's everything else, I mean, that's part of it. It's
Yeah,
not just.
because I think we're trying to position the USA League as something. I think if the longer league, it bumps you up to the next tier.
If you look at my daughter at his soccer, his daughter played here for 7 years, mine for 2. You know, should get more than from this league for being in it. Yeah, I, as a part, I disagree with it being a variable because the kid doesn't have control over it.
What do you want to say,
It is
Scott?
what it is. So, yeah.
That's what it is.
I mean, Yale's not giving out any scholarships that I know of, not gonna, it's not gonna matter, as I'm saying, so there's a continuity to this, we're trying to make sense for the rest of us, you know, us little guys. We'll get a committee, but then, if you've got an idea, send it to myself, or literally, you know, Jerry, and say, here's another idea. How many years it is? Because, you know, it's a good question. Probably be good for this application. But thinking that it should be because they're in, they get something. In other words, you're in 9 years, you get an award.
I think maybe more, that's all, like graduating, the longer you're in, the more money you can get.
Okay.
1 year in USA, you might just jump in there, last year, then that's it. That's not saying you shouldn't get any money. If somebody plays USA, then.
They will have the database shortly, probably in a year or two, that we can go back with accuracy and say where they, with the league or not. Now we have to get back 5, 6 years. Man for himself. So, all right, well, you know, so we'll we'll knock it around, we'll get 4 or 5 of us, we'll have some answer or some, like I said, if you got any ideas, let us know. Okay. So I'm assuming we're okay with the 30,000. That's fine.
My only concern is the wording. It says grant and scholarship. That's my concern, my main concern. It's where it affects the kid. We had to dance with, yes, with how it was worded and we registered.
But in having it a grant, you weren't penalized at all. Okay. So
As it was worded that way, it's in the word.
fine by us. I mean,
That's my main concern.
I think we get to the guys. Who is it? It's George and those guys. George and Mike is
George, Mike, McIver.
Okay.
You others.
And we can get to the guys and tell them what we're thinking and have them think through that way. Because now, if we do it that way, if we do that, it will be more of a choice. There will be. It's radioactive.
I think college coaches would rather have a scholarship than plus money there. That's right. But God forbid the kid.
But we're not saying the kid's going to be playing.
Yeah.
They not be playing in college. That's not. That's not one of the.
That doesn't like them.
Right. Yeah. All right. That's good. Anything else? Yes.
I missed the very beginning, and I think you probably talked about that meeting.
Yeah, we're going to keep, Lynn, I believe, has the easiest, best way to do this, we think. We're going to continue to every single month, we're going to simulcast it, if that's what it is. In our bylaws, there is a word that says attendance, okay? When we turn over at the AGM, we'll change that to make it much more specific. You can come up with, and I think we can, I'm sure we can. And we will. A professionally done audio visual that's stable, that you can get, you're located on your computer, you can check, we can verify that you've at least attended or you're at least checked in. Then we're not bad, I mean, for,
There's how many are, and I just asked her, can we tell how many are active?
yes, we've got it here. So,
Not only that, there is a database that when they log in, it tracks them, so even if we don't see them on the screen, there's a record and an expression.
we want it to be interactive, in other words, a way that you can ask a question, just like you're asking on this, and we'll answer it. We'll do it at the way that these also, one of us talking at a time, staying on topic, saying everybody's name as they mention things, but the idea is to get to a stable group. It's where that signal is stable. It's coming out to you, and your attendance is online, not physical, because it doesn't. In this age, for instance, this doesn't make any sense. This makes no sense whatsoever, unless there's a hearing or something like that we have some presence where we're going to handle something.
I'm coming up to see you guys.
It's a big He's got 50.
We should be balanced out there. We're too big, we're too wide, we're too.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Enough said, and we're going to do it. It will be, but you're still going to do this for voting purposes. You guys are affiliated. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that more participation and some of the problems we were just talking about. The fellow from Forest, not to pick out, but sure it was not Florida Coast. We had an email from one of the coaches. This is an example, and said he's been doing this 7 years. He's never had to have a game report before. It was North Fort Mile. Okay, so wherever it was, I thought it was Florida Coast.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
Pretty sure it was North Park. I'll go back and pull it. Referee.
I think it was Florida Coast for sure. One of you guys. So, but anyway, and that's a problem. I told Sherry, I don't think it's a huge problem. It's probably not 3 of the guys out there, but The fact is, we're getting the information squeezed down through the club to the guys. We know why. I mean, it's not inattention, it's not you're bad people. This bureaucratic stuff is a pain in the butt, and it's boring. It's maddening, but it's no structure. You're just in a Wild West. And all you ever hear from us is a complaint. Something wrong, we want something. The only time you hear from a board or anybody on the board is somebody complaining about something that happened to your fields or with one of your players, and that's, we get away from that. We've got to get out of the way to communicate so we're all in the same bucket together and we're figuring things out together. So we've got support when we do this because it gets more, as we go into the future, this thing just gets more atomized as far as scheduling and play. And if it breaks apart much further, you're going to be call guys all over the state. Start thinking about that. We're going up, teams going up. We started fining this year, for instance, work that has been in our bylaws for years. No one's ever done it. We started this year. Not a happy thing. Again, we got to look at, but if your club goes all the way, you travel all the way to, Hudson to play or to Denver to play, and the teams just show up. The team's got to be held to account, and now the club has got to be held to account because their team understand that they're supposed to be there that day, and they're obligated to be there that day, or they're obligated to protect somebody. But that's where we're headed. I mean, this thing will be.
So at this point,
Because you're going to have problems looking at this attendance thing. The word attendance is I don't want to be talking to 20 lawyers about what attendance means, and that's exactly what we can get.
I don't have a problem. I just, since I was here.
No, that's what we went back and readjusted. I think we thought that's the way it is right now. So we change it, and we'll be more specific in the bylaws as to what attendance means. So, anybody else?
Okay, the county in December.
There was no meeting in December.
Yeah, it was online practice.
We went, and we had an executive session, so we passed around, but that does not count as a. So typically, we always have canceled December.
Yeah.
So, and we'll keep on this. In other words, if for some reason you can't make it, be available in one format or another, whatever it happens to be. If this last one, then we'll just keep at this and keep refining it until it's the way we want it, or if it's the way we want it now. And we're going to keep doing it right until the AGM. So we get at it and we get more practice at it, so we can roll it out. When we do roll it out, we don't look like schmoes.
So with people that are voting online right now, do they have a way to have input right now?
Yeah, I'm not too sure if I can get them because,
Good question.
I mean, I can tell you who the participants are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just like them, we just don't want to hear anything from them.
Absolutely.
They do have a method, I just don't know if I've got it sent on because there's nobody emailing me that I can see.
Yeah. Someone out there, please send in an email right now to Linda.
Yeah, I don't.
Sure. That's what we're working out. Even the video, Linda was working out how to get that general shot of the group and being able to take what's on screen and show them when we go to that, say, all right, here's the budget. That you see that at home, then we'll go back to the
That's what
video.
you're seeing on the screen is what they're seeing.
Right.
And because I didn't have the camera software downloaded in my computer when the meeting started, I would get it input into the meeting. So it took 10 minutes to install. So it's
Well, that's what we're working on now. This, and I, again,
but there's that function.
I picked up a clean today. There you go. All right. That's right, though. In other words, if you just got an email in, and there may be an audio way to do it also. I know in one of the softwares, there's a way to mute the people outside or not.
They're all muted.
Yeah.
That because we,
But maybe a way we can work out, I don't
Oh, yeah.
know, and figure out someone, or somebody may have headphones on and be able to say, all right, we gotta keep
yeah,
from, so.
I can unmute one at a time.
Yeah, want to get this and take software or something similar, something professional as this, and have it exact. So every week we do it, every month we do it, every time we iterate it, we'll learn something about it and get better. But if I believe it probably can handle most of the stuff, I haven't seen anything yet. So, if and I told her, she said, I like all these guys coming in and everything else. I don't care if we got to hire Moses the Clown, whatever we've got to do to make this work. So all of our members can get a stable audiovisual presentation that's professionally done. We do. There's enough money in the budget they can accomplish it if that's what it takes. I'm not spending on that, but that work that consumes the what kind of energy costs, everybody driving here, the amount of miles, the risk of killing themselves, all the other things that go for the price. And that should be the future for us. So, for the good of the game, we've done with that. What do you got down there, Haley? Hear a motion to,
So most,
Favor?
I,
So, thank you very much.
we're going to have the executive session in 5, so we're going to have your.
that was passed.
Yes, okay. Everybody here can stay here and listen to it.
They can listen, but they can't participate.
That's all, that's fine, just as long as they can sit, we can sit and watch it, it's gotta be as open as possible. There's nothing we do if there is nothing.
I don't whatever it is, anyone, the problem is, like, do it now, everybody's just gonna look at it. So.
I think the biggest problem
I know.
And I just saw the reports today. Well, I just don't know about that before. Well, no, they were away, but I don't know why you. Well, why we would even discuss that, because that's all I've got on the agenda for it. Well, that was a, issue that happened in Brazil. It So what the issue was on that? See if I got the right number. 3121, that's what I said. I don't know what the issue is. Maybe there's something, I'm not too sure what it is.
well, they should put their kids in.
A couple.
will be back.
They were supposed to put it out. Every year. The office secretary has. He doesn't even know how to, it took me 2 months to get him to merge it. Some people register.
No, I guess it's not an order. I'm kidding. Whatever. Don't start without her. Hey, Frank, we don't need this. This is the cheapest tape. That's fine, right? It's done. That's the famous, you've been getting on field number 9.
Yeah, that's done. The hearing was held in May.
So I get rid of the evidence.
Actually, we were.
It wasn't evidentiary. It wasn't. We actually got, who, once he saw you had it. Before that, he didn't know who the guy was. Frank was like, geez, I don't know who you're talking about. Say him.
Every coach in this room knows who's on there.
Oh. Yeah, I don't guess we're now see you're going crazy.
No.
We're done.
Yeah.
So I can lose this.
I know a lot of kids on
Right.
He's got it there.
What's that?
I was just curious if I could see it.
Yeah. It's the game, and what happens is the child runs into the pit with number 9 on his back, and that's the kid that's supposed to be insane. He's in there a couple times. I don't know if you were here when Frank, actually the guy that...
Well, you could see them acting third on the left side.
Right.
2 9s.
And it's like, he said, who is that? And on that point, there was no knowledge. It was the number 9. Who was it? And he couldn't figure that out. Not sure who that is.
They got caught because he didn't realize he had the video.
No, that's right.
He blamed the game. He was blaming the game.
But it wasn't evidence.
There was no evidence.
And what really irks me is,
Perry Mason, was it Perry Mason?
That was a serendipity. I mean, that was just somebody said to me, hey, I got a tape of that game. Maybe I got something. And I said, do you? Give me a copy. 5 weeks later, someone hands me a copy. I forgot completely to talk to the guy. I said, well, I'll look at it. I didn't realize number 9 showed up. There was only one of the under 9, but the ref marked 9 on his thing. That was the kid that was in question, and there he is, bigger than life on the field.
He's also in 9.
Yes, yeah.
the panel decided that Kelly was guilty, Weaver was guilty, because as the hearing that we had, Kelly was on the phone, she didn't come. Greg was there, but according to the panel, they didn't believe either one of them. And they started talking about who was at fault for the passes. Quite a little argument between the two of them. They were throwing each other under the bus.
Actually, here's the,
Just one around.
Okay.
I just hit them because they were good to those guys.
Yeah, so,
Panel, we had one guy that had played, he was about 25, 26. Lester, he had played for everybody. School kid that had played since he was
Around the
12 years old.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
I mean, this is not believe either one. They knew that they both were lying. That's what they said. That's what the panel said. They're both lying. So it's hard to know what's true. The thing is, somebody knows who number 9 is at that club and not telling us. I'm one that was one of the 17.
Somebody on the roster a week later, and I'm guessing that's probably the kid. They thought, oh, we'll just stick him on the roster. He played okay, so we'll put him on the roster. But it did ask somebody, and I'll bet you dollars to donuts that was the kid. Well, they knew at the time that he was on the roster. You know.
Oh, they knew he wasn't on the roster, and they would never tell us. Now,
That is just pure serendipity. I mean, it wouldn't happen another 1,000 times. You wouldn't get something like that.
now they were suspended for the minimum, the remainder year plus a year. Both of those. So
coaches and
that would be, right, Angel, even never responded to any of his stuff. He's
left or
suspended.
something.
Now, the person that left was never on roster, so we don't even have a clue who that was,
The first coach.
the first coach. So Kel is the team manager, and Greg Beaver is in charge of the 17. He's suspended for the remainder of the year, plus a year. And he emails us about the 15. The whole argument at the hearing was he has nothing to do with the 15. So they're emailing
what
us
are they going
about
to do now?
That's what
Well, he's asking, can they play? And what Linda is, I thought you didn't have anything to do with this guy.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But he called me. All said, great. Okay. It doesn't have anything to do with it, you know. I said, but I'll tell you, the team can play. I mean, you need to get that information out there, but it's, you claim one thing and you're in the middle of this, you can't be the guy to communicate with us anymore, I tell you.
no, so it's gone, and we're going to ensure that Romildo gets him off the 17th, so he can't be on the 17th. So the 17th to finish their season. Romildo has to understand his responsibilities, even though he does, he's got communication that he does. He's gone from all USSF activity.
Oh, wow. So you've been outside of club.
Oh, yeah, he can't be involved with U.S. clubs,
Right.
July,
Right, because then he'll just,
he's
right.
for the end of the year. I mean, quit. We knew that. She didn't want anything to do with them. But the month that whole thing came in that hearing, it was obvious he was involved.
Yeah. He's the guy that really drove the whole thing, according to the guy who really pulled the teams away. The other thing we got, if we get it, and we're going to really redo some of these bylaws, one of them has got to be that we can, if we pass the members, but I think we can if we make a good enough argument, that we've got to be able to determine it can't just be that we have to take people. There has to be some level of integrity or
Integrity, it's right on the first page of the LISA bylaws. It's right there.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to get something, Frank. We need to get something as a board that is more open and pointed and easier to say we can have in the league because. And we had five incidences at your home fields, and we had a riot there.
Show up, but
Yeah. Repeatedly, whatever happens.
constantly arguing.
You're going to force people to start to toe the mark a little bit better, and or you'll drive the kids to clubs where they are better managed.
Well, FYA has affiliation procedures that have denied affiliation to, they took away the one down in Cape Coral that was a huge controversy over it, but they took their affiliation away because they stole it from another club, but it matter. They took it away and said, no, you're no longer an affiliate. FYSA has done that. We can do the same thing. As long as we put it in the rules what we're doing.
Right.
Clubs that are not, they have to be either we approve them, advance, or something. Gotta have fun. I'm in total agreement with you.
I mean, you're not saying we just don't know what to do. I mean, it's gotta be, I think we've got a right to, get people into the game who are cooperative and who's well managed as far as their coaches and everything else. Stop some of the, and I think you can cut from that, you'll cut down some of the nonsense because people start to get the idea that, hey, you're not in the USA, you ain't gonna play anywhere, and you're gonna lose. The kids are gonna go somewhere to find a place to play. And that'll be the end of it. Either that one person sees that, they're gonna start to realize we get better. And I know in the past, I mean, I'm gonna do the same thing. Things got away from me, I had a team that was starting to wobble. I got them out of the league quickly right before the season started, but that's the other thing. We got teams that are wobbly, that can't make it, and people got to start making harder decisions about can guys go travel and make all season. Sometimes we make mistakes based on they've got 13 kids and they're going to get 4 more to leave, and we're back to where we started from. That happens to everybody. It's on us to be able to make the decisions to do that or not. It should be in our hands and the wherewithal to do it. I mean, if the people are on the board are as good at making decisions about this stuff as there's ever been. You know, not that we have there, you know, the other boards have been capable also. All right, let's start with all our fun issues.
Okay, I'm gonna go and relog this Scott Soccer, because I clicked on something that didn't.
Sherry, was it North Friars or was it the, yeah, but the game I talked to Jim about the, was it? I thought, that's fine, because I asked the guy from Hudson, I said, you got a guy there that has game report in 7 years, and he didn't know who it is. There was, Sherry and I discussed while we're going around that, I talked to Joe about it. Apparently when Indian comes into Sherry, I guess, or Linda, I'm assuming this now, the guy is saying, I'm not going to make it. You know, we've got 2 broke legs and everybody has to play. We're not going to get up to the game this week or a week ahead of you, right? As soon as that's known from one team, that you then spring into action, you go into the database USA, not Got Soccer, and or maybe
No, it is, no, Scott Soccer.
okay. Does Got Soccer go out to our website and change and put 3 O's or 4 forfeit?
No, soccer, not one of us.
So all right, so you have to do that physically, but that happens. In other words, when that happens, the question is it part of the database that it goes right to the rep? As soon as that happens, does it go to the rep assigner unless they're saying if
We communicate with the rep assigner long before that happens.
What's the request?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, no,
I got a call last
Mhm.
night, team not showing up, and they were 4.
Okay.
That was the first I heard. I really called me, I looked up, but, you know, if I ever find out the game's been canceled, suspended, forfeit, or not, on the system every day. You're right, yeah, no.
Still.
Email, yeah, sure, very good. I'm not saying you don't contact me by email, but what it's about is there ought to be some stuff where once you put a cancellation in Got Soccer, the assigner is automatically notified at the same time.
We notify you if somebody's
By
canceled.
email, yes, but Got Soccer does not send out a message telling me that game is being canceled.
That's what the database is not.
It goes to the referee.
Did the team that called and canceled, did they notify you?
No, they didn't know what to find.
They just take it upon themselves to say to you, we're not coming.
In this case, they notified you.
If they took it upon themselves to tell you, oh, by the way, we're not coming.
Because it was.
If they enter and Got Soccer, the game is forfeited, okay?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, yeah.
There's some link that is sent to the assigner, that way I can cancel the referee. Now, like I said,
I don't know if
they
that-
contact by email.
Would you let me give you the procedure? If the coach follows the procedure and contacts Sherry, or am I supposed to do it to info, going to put anything in on the game, we're going to contact the assigner.
Right.
We're going to notify the assigner, and we're gonna leave the.
What you're saying is to eliminate the middle person.
Yes.
That's your
No.
saying.
We have to be.
No, but that's what he's saying. Well, he said that the teams could go in automatically and say, we're forfeiting some stuff.
You know, see, what happens more now is that the game is moved on time, moves from a different field and things. And they do that.
No, they,
No, I'm talking about future.
we do it and notify
I say you
you.
don't do that, and I'm not complaining about the information. You guys are very good about that. I get the information. But if we shouldn't have to email me every time.
Yeah, what you're saying is that you, once you change it in Jogger, it would just generate an email.
That's what you think, you guys.
But I don't know what Jogger is.
Right, that way it would,
Like when the referee enters the game report, we should be notified the report's been entered.
If
We
we,
have to go in there and look.
I look every Sunday night.
But that one, what we're talking about now is,
When she goes in there and
We can
enters
ask
3-0 score,
yeah.
the report's been entered, so it should go notified that the
I don't know about that.
We should get that, there should be something we can get a notification that the report's been done.
but you look on our report.
Well, you have to go back to
If I go look at each of it, goes down and get each
But
of
this
it.
You
but
want
this thing was,
3,000 emails a year? I get an email from everyone. I mean, and I'm not saying that God Soccer could do it. This does not sound like something they're gonna do.
It would still be,
well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
when you do it, but instead of having to send it for email.
My question to Sherry, and that's what she was saying, I'm not sure, she said,
That's what.
you know, the same day.
I'm trying to understand, can we walk through the logistics of this? Friday night, somebody calls,
Team play.
I cannot play tomorrow. Right, so now go to,
We're talking about a week ahead.
It goes to info. One of us is gonna answer it.
okay, that night, Friday night.
As long as they're available.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Usually we tell
It's
them,
the home team, right, the home team's got to.
USA. Sometimes they'll need or they'll email and they will direct them to Linda or.
Okay, so they get the information, and now for you only know that if you get an email from them, that the game is not on tomorrow, then you have to get a hold of the.
who knows who the referees are, because we
Yeah.
contact the
And
assigner.
you're just trying to make that more.
So she doesn't have to send an extra email.
Times though, the games have been canceled, and there's nothing about it.
But then because we as USA fortunately did it on their own, it didn't show up. Yeah.
Well, but that's one thing. In this case, I actually looked, because my guy said that's been forfeited. I said, what are you talking about? It's been forfeited. I went into USA, and there was a 3-0 score a week ahead. It was a week ahead.
Oh, that's where referee made a mistake.
Well, I mean, it was a the team, there was
Nobody showed up.
come,
I mean, you're saying.
someone, we ended 3-0 forfeit. They already had it in there. When he called Jim, he said, well, Jim told me that, you know, that the referee may still be coming. I said, fine, if that's it, we pay the referee. He was scheduled.
According to the forfeit thing, the referee's supposed to be paid.
Anyway,
But I'm saying,
The referee's not getting paid either.
Augie told me to tell him that way he made sure he got paid.
okay.
That was Augie's suggestion.
That's in the forfeit rules,
Yeah.
we're supposed to pay.
Now, here's what starts to happen there, though. Neither team shows up, because one team knows, so one team knows that there's no game. The other team, the home team, says, well, I'm not gonna have my kids wait here, they're gonna come all the way schlep down here, it's 40 degrees and raining, to put 9 kids to a ref who has showed up, right? Does that make sense? No, doesn't make any sense. That's why I went back to Cherry and the Jim right now saying, it's not the same database. If that had happened the week before, Jim would have said to the referee, don't bother. If ref said, I take another game, then, you know, someone's going to pay him. I mean, a club or somebody, but the club shouldn't be responsible.
Team's responsibility to communicate to you if there's an.
Not if the away team says, I'm not coming a week and a half ahead of time.
And then they're the ones that forfeit, according to the forfeit procedure, they're to pay the fine, and the referee.
Correct, that's what I'm saying. So,
The team that forfeits.
correct, yes, so USA pay ref essentially if the ref needs to be paid because he's already committed a week out.
And then go after the club.
Question I had is, this is not, and Jim's answered the question, game database. That's how these things can come. You end up, because I said, how can a ref end up, I've known Jim for 20 years, and he isn't going to miss it. I mean, he's not going to.
The way a rep would know is if it was.
Well, Jim didn't know.
Yeah, because it wasn't communicated to us. If both coaches called each other, or even
That's something else.
I think the issue of this particular game was a weird situation. Is this the game that the guy didn't want to pay the fine?
Mhm.
There was a lot of back and forth.
No, they were coming from, yeah, right.
I remember this one because I said there is a procedure and he didn't want to.
My point is,
And the procedure is an email to info, and he didn't do that. He was going through you.
Well, and also.
my point is the database should be the same for Jim.
It is the same.
As soon as he enters it, he should get something.
No, that's not going to
I don't know if
happen.
it works that way.
It doesn't.
I don't know if God Soccer can do that.
Well,
That's what
my
we
question, that's why I'm
have to
bringing it up.
be careful of making
I think
sure.
that was one of the questions we got.
I can find out.
We brought up.
That's why I'm bringing it up, Steve.
Yeah, and we never, and.
Is there a way-
And then they, we're not, 9 years ago.
Okay. So the answer is that there's no way to do that.
As far as, I haven't talked with God Soccer about other things. I think of it all after.
But I know that that's
It would
why
be easier if that
Sherry
went
and
right out. Once a forfeit happens,
A long time ago. That's the part I don't understand, because when we put in the.
that 3-0's been here for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, what happened?
Yeah, that's, okay, thank you. That's what happens. And he went back, I don't know about that. I don't find that out unless I get in there and I go,
And you see it, you find out.
referee. I'm thinking, I didn't cancel that referee. But they've been, we're talking about, when you wipe out that referee saying that, I got canceled, I should. It doesn't show scores on our end, that referee.
Right, and we've asked soccer to do
My
that.
question is, can God Soccer do that?
But we haven't done, that's why we are so, we try to be so conscious
Right.
to email.
But the answer is God Soccer doesn't have the capability to do it.
We're gonna find out right now, we can ask. It could be done. I'm sure it can be done, but, because we got a couple of other software programs that are already doing that.
Yeah.
We've already asked them, that's why Sherry and I are so we try to be conscientious
Well,
of not
there's most
putting
of them
stuff
out, but
in
I have a question.
until we know we've heard
But if
from
the
the
database
owner.
were there, Jim, you wouldn't have to go back and check.
That's what my.
As a referee, you show the scoreboard, but as the signer side, we don't see the score, we don't see the
No.
forfeit, it shows a blank and we need to sign it.
Mhm.
That's,
I've done that a couple times. I've gone in there, I forgot. I did that game, so I reassigned it. And
All we have to-
Hey, I showed up, there was nobody here.
So you blank out, and then you get another, think of the game that you forgot with.
Well, blank out, a score should go in.
but it's showing on the signer
On
side.
the insiders, I know, but that's
When he goes and signs the referee, say he signed that game again, and I come there to my report, it shows me that there's a score already entered.
It shows it on your side, but not the assigner's.
What Sherry and I have
So
to
that's
do,
what y'all need to see. Even if it doesn't send an email, at least show the score.
we need to make sure that we remove the field, because when we remove the field, it removes
It'd be
games
better
from
if
that.
you just removed the whole game.
Well, we can't.
What's true?
After a hockey game, if the referees do it. I really can't remember half the stuff I do, so maybe you should just remove it.
You can't remove the game, but if you remember to remove the field, then it'll never show at your end when we do that. That way, there's you, especially if we sent you an email and we're, I don't know, kind of waiting to find out that you canceled the rest, because if we date it totally, then it moves the rest. And we have to have the ability, refs have to have the ability to go in when they've assigned the game to enter the game report.
And close the game.
Exactly. So we have to, what we're gonna have to do is make sure we remove the field. If we remove the field, it'll, that's the thing.
All right.
Remove the field.
Let's get to the next one item.
I gotta go.
Thanks, Jim.
That's it. You want next one on the list?
Yeah, let's start moving down.
It's 2560, which is 2560. And because Northport Myers did not have 4 players on the official roster that was printed, and Winter Haven complained. Mac did, and I finally did get this particular, game report, card from Stephen Pike.
Oh, that's from me.
It's from you. I had one from Stephen Pike, because he wrote this down.
Yeah, she wrote that one down too. Checking it.
All right, so anyways, we got one from Stephen, and there was 4 names written in. Now, he said all 4 were eligible to play because he saw them on another roster on the guy's phone. I'll pull that up right now, but I sent it all to you. FYSA registration event, the registrar on another roster, not the UA roster, but another roster, put down 4 guest players, and that's what he's been carrying around. He can get on his phone. He says he doesn't have it, and pay, but I think sends it out to the board, and when he pulls his roster up, it doesn't show those 4 players because we don't recognize guest players. The registrar was using a tournament one without guest players, which is why.
What age group?
Only in tournaments. You're going to see a guest player on here.
The register him as a secondary player,
Yeah, they
which
won't
you do unless it's a 14.
They're not going to be on here, is what I'm saying, as a guest player. Okay?
No,
Here.
it's a secondary
They're
player.
going to be as a secondary, they're going to be secondary. They're not going to be as a guest. It's either going to be secondary or close out. Not going to be a guest player as we know. So we've got 4 guest players that we know play 2 different games, and this is a U14. 14 Premier. Got 3 games. I can't prove any of the other ones because referees did not turn in the game cards, and we've asked for them, and they say throw them away, whatever. They don't have them. I've only got 2.
You complain again. You're saying 4 guest players that.
Yes.
What?
And we allow 3.
Oh, okay.
We allow 3.
Right.
Got 4 we know in 2 games. And he's saying they're on his roster, but they're on a roster that his registrar created.
Bottom line is they have to be on God's roster. They have to be on the game card as the primary roster.
Right.
What, more of them?
Right. Now, one did get moved after a point in time. So now you look.
So he knows what he did wrong. So he only played 4 players, bottom line. Because if he didn't move them, he would have. Yeah, it's on his roster, but not on God's soccer. We go by the game card.
They're not primary
Yeah.
on
Primary on
his
his roster.
team on game day, is what I'm saying.
And he played the FYSA against the USA thing. In other words, yeah. And then I know exactly what he did. He had players, and he wanted to try to say, oh, they're rostered for whatever.
And he's able to pull up a roster that shows them on the roster.
And it's an FYSA roster. That's it. That's the bottom line. We don't discuss it anymore. He played 1 extra play, shouldn't have played, and we have to decide whether it's a punishment of some sort, and then he fixed it, and now we move on,
What I sent out.
That's my opinion.
And the question is, the 4 players, are they moving around constantly?
Yeah, they might be.
Or they just been there and the guy is
And here's the thing, you can have 4 guest players, but you can only have 3 of them written.
What's the difference if you're putting them in out of, in other words, you're using
I see what he
them?
said, He's all right. But we don't go by.
He's got 4 sitting there all the time
And
no one else to get one on the roster.
let me bring up a complaint or an issue that I'm starting. It goes back to the commission piece about getting the information through the clubs, okay? But I have, obviously I coach 2 teams, and I've been to various games where I have had like 4 different scenarios of what referees have asked me for and what they think we are supposed to do. And I'm not going to blame the referees. I'm not going to blame but we had a situation back in the fall, with going up Citrus, and they're like, we need,
We don't need it.
yeah, we need to get playing for us when we don't. I went to TBU, and the referee came to me and said, where's your roster? I said, I have a game card. He goes, no, we go by the roster. No, you don't. All right, then I go to another game, and they're telling me that, both teams have to have a game card. No, the home team is supposed to provide the game card. We have the game card, and he was, and it's getting frustrating.
Oh, Answer that though. Frank has got an idea, and that's why I referred to in the middle of the talk. Frank is going to put together, or is putting together. At first, it scared me a little. I heard about it because I thought, raise more meetings for refs. He's like having 2, 3, 4 in service, for the referees, and
Yeah, that's
you make one of them. It goes down to,
Hey, if you want to be assigned, then you gotta make.
here's what you get,
That's it.
here's what you need, and here's what you don't need.
But when we think about the punishment for these coaches,
See, their roster that she has, it's got the 4 guests.
and that's great. And that's a roster that they pulled up, like you said, they probably used for a tournament, where it allows guest players, does it, and where does it notice a guest player? Where? Right, okay, so he's had 4 guest players.
Can you look at those player numbers and
Verify there's a
well, just give me a history.
But the bottom line is, if a coach thinks you're going by the roster, then this is what they're using, and, you know, it's.
The referee doesn't know the rules.
The play game is not anybody's giving you the same story, so until we can do what you did and have everybody working on the same, we have about what the punishment's gonna be at this point.
We can stop beating this horse. We have a quorum, we voted, I spoke with Mike Meckelberg, FSR, going to have inserted where FSR will do the portion,
Right.
you will do this portion as to the rules of competition for USA.
Not that I know of.
FSR will do theirs as to the procedures
But it's
for
4
writing reports and each league. Now, we're going to use that for USA. Pilot program.
I can,
To me, the difference works in the guy trying to game the system. The guy that's so stupid, he doesn't know he's.
it's got 4.
He
I
can't
spoke to
use
Mike, once we put it together,
Right.
Joseph.
It couldn't be on your paper.
How much you gonna punish somebody when they don't, the refs don't know what to do? The refs should have stopped that immediately.
And by next year,
Why, he would.
our referees will be, we also should have an online module
For coach.
Well,
for referees that signers will be involved.
Yeah, I want to know, each coach and each club have a checklist. Because he doesn't know what it is, the referee will ask for stuff and the coach just doesn't.
But the ref even,
So they need to know what.
Ref should have stopped it right there.
We have
But when you come as a coach, yeah, I agree, but when you come as a coach and you have your game card and you have your passes and you have this, and then 3 guest players written on your game card, and the ref won't run the game unless he sees the game report, the guest player form. You know that a year ago we got rid of that, and he doesn't know that. Yeah, but that's what it is. My checklist, this, a ref check, so I think a combination of both of these.
It's gonna be everything.
Will be good, and you know, in your conversation.
On the website, I agree, I mean, we're giving it to them there, but I see that.
Yeah, but it's gotta be.
We're not pushing it down hard enough, having these things. I think it goes to what he's saying, and I agree with him. When you go to punch, you got to look at the difference that you're dealing with.
In a row.
Is it a stupid coach that isn't paying attention, or is it some guy that's moving the kids on
And the
game and the system?
and the
Yeah,
bad part is.
but at the same time, you can't lose your credibility as a league. But we are going to.
It's like when we initiate.
Years, you know, another.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, what we're saying is like, okay, we got you now. We're watching you. You know what I mean? And the thing is, if it's
That's the point, Mike, what do you do with it, say, hey, you know, you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about the team that lost to the guy that played 4 games?
Well, did they lose? Yes,
they lose. But second of all, the thing is, yeah, no, I agree with, but once we have all of our ducks in a row, this happens, and this. I'm sorry, you know, but until then, we have to kind of balance it a little bit.
So 2 games where the coach is protesting, right? One of them definitely, I don't know if I said it.
Okay,
One of them's complaining because he played 4 guest players.
but they won.
No,
No.
City won theirs, Plain City versus.
And they're complaining. Okay, well, one was one and one.
The guys that won aren't complaining.
Right, okay.
No,
And
they're not complaining.
maybe we should, I mean, I'm not saying don't punish them. I mean, maybe that game, we've proved, we've seen it, through our rules, that game will be forfeited.
Yeah, that game that they protested, we forfeited. The other one, we would.
The other one was just we're worried about it, and we'll say, and we're watching, and if they see it again, we're gonna suspend you, and give them the procedure again, so that they can say, this is the procedure, and go from there.
Well, since the guy protested, he lost the match, you should be forfeited, it's fair, I guess.
Let me give you the information.
I mean, we do have it in rules.
The coach,
Well, that protest, was that a formal protest?
no,
Well, I mean, he did complaint that they sent out.
He doesn't as a referee.
It's on the
And
referee
then
report.
so that's a formal protest.
It's not, he complained to the referee.
Well, I know, do we have a formal protest?
Well, I thought that was the formal.
It wasn't just somebody complains and makes a statement, and then we spend tons of hours researching it. Like one of those situations, it is tons of hours, and it turned out to be nothing. I wouldn't research anything unless it's, okay, I'll put up the administrative fee, and we'll check it,
But it's
and a formal, and you'll get the forfeit. You don't,
We got knowledge to the referee, so it was put on the report.
It's on the game.
Now you can say, are you
Yeah, but-
formally filing this?
right, you file with your protest fee, it starts the ball rolling.
We already know probably what we'll do, but they want, it has to be a formal procedure, to avoid everybody complaining about everybody.
Involved with breaking the rules.
No.
It's reported by the referee.
No, what he's saying is it's a fee. In other words, you want to formally protest, put up an administrative fee, and then we'll look into it.
Right, for a win-loss, you're looking at a win-loss, you're not looking at just a question.
Bylaws.
Bylaws, and I don't know if I want to put it in the bylaws, but something to be a bar.
Is there a or do we have a procedure for that in our bylaws? Okay, well, we can charge $100. No, we're not, again, something to look forward to put in the future.
It ought to be a trigger. Yeah, it ought to be a trigger, not just an email that comes out, and it was on the referee, where it on the referee report, the guy lost the game, and I says, okay, fine, I'll just form.
Just like, for example, okay, he doesn't let this player play
Before game.
because he was supposed to have a report, make it known in the game report, and something
He
happened.
complained before the game.
Before the game started.
Right. I'm saying, it says this will be under protest.
And
Even an email, we don't get that many of them, or we don't get 100 every weekend of unsubstantiated ones. You can look at most of these emails,
there's
most of them
to it.
do it.
I had a couple of people looking up there where they were thinking,
But every time we get it, usually there's something going on that's.
So as league, yes, okay, this year there wasn't that much. So the one we decide we need a rule because, this year we got 10 of them. There only got 2, and the next year.
It makes it no use to turn it in. I'm saying, if we got people checking them, it's easy to check them, then we cut down, because we get it right away.
to actually say, okay,
I would say anything.
say, if there's any question about the game in any way, I'd make it known to the referees.
Well, I would.
On the game report, just to say that I put it in at game time.
I think player eligibility is something we've got to review and charge for. It's the other stuff that is,
Correct.
that we need to,
But, and that's the rule as we are moving forward. Coming back to this situation now, though, I mean, in essence, it looks like.
All right, so we got we've already determined, is everybody set with that?
And then as we move forward, we'll look towards.
So it gets away, so that game's forfeited.
I'm not
Get up and get going.
game, right?
Now,
You're on the executive board, though, Leslie.
Well, I'd make that motion, but.
of course, now, we're going to hear back from Luke, who says that that's not what happened.
Okay, well, then he has to prove it on but the bottom line is.
That will trigger that, what you told.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, if he challenges that, then he has to pay the fee in order for us to.
we'll have a hearing.
Yeah,
I mean,
Fine, we will have.
that's your rights, I mean, this is.
Yeah, so, that would be, I think, the fact of the facts, we acted on the facts of this.
We're looking at the game report, it says, yes, this form is illegal, prove me, how are you gonna prove it otherwise? Bring me, Florida, an FYSA roster that has him on the roster prior to that game.
Yes. Okay, correct.
Because he pulled an FYSA roster, shows for yes.
No, it showed 4 guests.
You're right, it did.
Show me where that person says primary, not guest, prior to that game. And then say he was on the roster. But other than that, or like you said, a game card.
For argument's sake, he can say primary to this team and secondary to that team.
Well, 14s he could.
2.
14s, he can use 14s, right?
Is it 14th to 15th?
Yeah.
Is it a 15 player?
Oh, he didn't say that,
14s, 15s, that's right.
he can't say it's secondary when it says guest,
Right.
because they're two
No,
different.
right. It said secondary.
It says guest.
Or guest. We didn't say primary.
Yeah, forfeited, and then we'll wait for
And
it.
this
And then we'll wait for the reaction.
Tell them to pay $100 or whatever.
And-
$200, whatever it is.
And this roster,
You get another 200,
this one, the roster's dated.
So each group, he's got a September roster.
He's one extra player. October.
October.
But he had to play the USA match.
October,
For that
November,
roster.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
You know
this
what I'm
he played all,
He hasn't started season at 10-9.
yeah, the first game was 10-9.
Oh, was it? It was 9, I thought it was 9. 9.
It's 10-9, the roster's 10-9,
Right.
but the season began 10-19.
I'm saying he hadn't played a match.
Oh, that's
That
right.
roster is prior to any match he
Mhm.
played this season.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, but that's gas. Totally.
That's good.
That's so dumb. Gas. All right, next one.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's move.
Okay, Sherry's gonna notify?
You go.
I see him, so what do you?
It's game 2560. I you were copied on all of that.
We, you know, through, we
You know?
They're forfeited. They had 4 guest players. They
reviewed the game report, and it showed that you had 1 or 2
And
guest players.
the complaint was made prior to.
Oh, yeah.
A complaint was made, or a protest,
When are you gonna send
that
that?
game will be forfeited as a 3.
Well, I'll be talking
Unless you provide, unless you file a protest, then $500 and open bar.
You show up.
Doesn't matter.
We can make it, okay.
And then we tell the others that, and they make it fun.
First one was like
Hey, even when we goof up as coaches, we have to.
That's right.
All right.
Absolutely.
We have to take the top.
Next one.
4511, this is about the Lakeland team. It was at Seminole, and the referee was abandoned because Lakeland wanted to get passes without photos. Which is cards, not a photo on the player pass.
I guess the coaching would be a little bit
Mm-hmm.
worked in. You could take the pads, you could take a driver's license, and prove the picture, okay? In an emergency situation, right? But their passes.
What game is it? What day? In December?
This was December 24th.
What age?
Girls.
Okay, without, I mean, I'm not saying they probably did it, it probably was legitimate, but the bottom is, how can you
The
verify it?
bottom line is,
Now,
How can you verify it, that that person was that player?
you can't, I mean, the referee was right in saying those players could
So
not,
it's a forfeit for the other team, because
they were guest players. Why couldn't he play with the rostered players and just say those guest players?
you know,
Well, that's again, we'll go back to the referee procedure, right?
well, the fact is,
He abandoned the game.
well, that shouldn't have been abandoned, it should have been,
They should not allow to play.
it should have just been, hey, those are players.
what happened was, you get players and have enough to play in.
That's what I'm saying.
What does it say that? Do we know?
Well, that's,
Well, that's what we're finding out. It's a loss for that team.
Oh, no, I'm there had enough players.
Yeah, that's the question.
Lakeland has an app.
Do we have a roster from the?
No, I don't think. No,
Okay, who's?
I don't think so. Hold on. Nobody's complaining.
Ref's report, they took, everybody said, okay.
We're trying to help the team that lost to see that they could have.
Yeah.
We're trying to find out were they forced to.
The referee has no right to force a game and
Forced to
then
because of guest players.
unless.
14 players.
And you wanted to put 4 more guest players, that's your choice.
Yeah, but I mean, he could have just said that those players without the picture.
And decide what again.
What happened in that one game?
Shirts, put on your practice shirts.
Yeah.
Just it out.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's what happened in that one U16 game I had. He said, we need,
Get the gist of that, maybe he didn't get faith that any of them were any good. Girls look
I was a pass certificate. And because of that, they drove all the way up to Nature Coast, and the parents were livid.
Right.
You know, I did it, but that wasn't fair to our fourth kid. There should be some kind of ramification, but that's more like
Where was it?
the referee than
I was thinking some
coaches.
Oh, Dave.
You want me to go out where?
Yeah, go out to where you clicked on the report.
Out.
Yeah, go back.
Here, Jim.
David Peterson's.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He's
Yes, Dave. to get to that referee, say, why?
Rather than a complaint, I would hope that they.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, so let's get to Dave. Let's have Dave ask the referee, why did you abandon the match?
I need to find out.
Let's find the ref.
Can you pull the?
No, they didn't play.
Okay, pull up the game card, but you don't know how many kids were there or how many players.
Yeah, hold on, let me get.
Dave could find out from the referee.
Yeah, sure, they could have been on the roster, but then they got.
The only action I would say right now is we ask Dave to ask the referee.
Yeah, we don't have to, we just.
Why did you abandon the match?
Yeah,
You probably get the answer.
Did they not have enough?
Right.
Right, I don't know, and probably, hopefully that's the case. Hopefully, if
Who's gonna do that? Now,
and you know what happened? What happened was they didn't have enough players at the game. They rounded up a few players that were already on the field. They printed them out in the computer, in the.
They have 8 on the roster.
They got pictures for them. They say, can you just use these? That's what happened.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's a 7-a-side game. Hey, decide, I'm sorry.
But for Christmas, I guarantee they have.
Which one is which? That's the one?
And Lakeland did not complain about,
They just didn't have enough players.
they don't complain.
Let's at least check with
Yeah, but that's probably.
I agree with you.
I think that's just a referee, right? I mean, we don't.
No, because you know what?
It's got nothing to do with
the players, and that's fine.
They're not complaining.
It was a wording thing. He probably should have said forfeit instead of abandon.
Gets to Dave Sherry, can you do that too? Can you send something out to Dave, just ask him to reference this?
Should have known.
Reference the thing and ask the referee.
And why?
Specifically, why did he?
Doesn't have enough players.
Who, what, why?
Yeah, and these players didn't have pictures.
So they had.
I think we're gonna find out here.
It could be because the coaches didn't have, and he may have
What is an APA game? What is it?
Right.
Yeah.
If the
technically.
coaches don't have pictures in the passes.
Can't be on.
They're not supposed to be on the.
Well, then you can't play.
There's only one coach and no
And
pass.
he said there was the passes didn't have pictures, that's what he said.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's.
No, his wording wasn't very, I mean, it could be better.
I know, but that's what we'll find out when we ask Dave, just ask Dave, that game number, that center, and say, ask him, it's not clear why he abandoned the game. We're not.
He said, guest players.
Those are cards.
Not have a photo on the player pass.
He did the right procedure, but it just didn't work right.
Pictures, now that's
Yeah.
plural.
Cards,
Plural.
That's
not good.
The coaches can't be there, they don't have pass.
Right, I mean, like you said, it was just a matter of it not being the coach available, and the rest of the team was all good. You could verify it. I don't know if that's legal.
Still,
You could say, let me see your driver's license.
with what SC Lakeland gave me for the player and coach's pass, he didn't feel safe for what we did.
and we're the coaches, but let's find out from him.
A field marshal involved, so I don't.
Yeah.
Which is correct.
I think this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So, there's no complaints, nothing came out.
Just for our purposes, so that you can.
Make sure that the guy is making a decision.
Ask on referees, please word it as this, and so we have word for this. This is a, correct, yeah.
It's just a write-up.
Yeah, right, situation.
Next one.
I don't know what the issue with this one, so maybe somebody can remind me. 3121. Dale, this is the game report of which there's really, there was in there, so I don't know why it's on the agenda. Remember, there's nothing here.
Okay, this email says, receive the attachment from referee, the red card is not the issue, it is the roster. Coach put in his name card on 10-6 for 10-6. We installed 16 games with significant changes and players. The changes are not the problem, but he has all his new players appearing as guest players at games.
Yes, and we've told,
So it's an old good card,
yeah, and,
written in players that are.
right, and he doesn't bring, the Auburndale team doesn't bring a name card to the game,
Ever.
ever. So if somebody's printed one before all these changes, so Auburndale just needs to be notified that they need
I'm
to.
just tired.
Yeah.
At first, did that team waiting?
It didn't matter, no, it was a horrible game card, because you couldn't reach, because it looked like there's
They've had about 5
It's all written in.
They have to bring a game card, a current game card
Blast it
for
off
every
on
game of
refs,
that
Chris.
day. That was the
Aren't we expecting people to print out the game card the day before?
Yeah, the day off or day before.
in the Common sense.
Come on. So they printed it out.
Yeah, they printed out like 10 of them for season or something, yeah.
Two or three coaches,
And Auburndale being
bananas out there and get games.
of the whole team.
Technically, they're on one key part to show up to that field.
Yeah, they should be.
Yeah.
You're all the way a referee.
And I think probably moving forward, you do need to make it backwards in the rule that all parties, just to be drawn, show up. All parties should be bringing data. We need to make that there. It's in the rule, in case the referee has something, there's no players, all teams, bring one of the referees.
They're also using, then that violation of their agreement.
According to this high school, no one's there to.
Okay, so there's no ramification in this game that came out
No, we're-
that,
No, one that I'm pulling up another one, but that Auburndale one, we just need to Auburndale an email saying that.
email, through the other team. Game call. Bring it up every game, every day. Oh, shoot.
But more to the point, I mean, Auburndale, that's the fourth, two or three coaches kicked out of games that cursed the ref out.
That is.
You've got a violation.
Yeah, they've been.
But according to these guys, there's really nobody there.
But there's
There's no there there.
They are.
There might be a call.
And if they're not doing it, then.
Identify where they play a certain, specific team, or, you know, there's a complex, just make sure that they don't have a precedent early.
They have a precedent.
Game,
So we can't line them up like Larry and Curly and,
So,
then just
Keep up there for
so that they.
a second. Let's look at this.
All right, next.
they're not following.
All right. That's one you
Thing is,
need to write
there's
down. I gotta pull this
nothing
up, see what I can do with the referee.
Was Auburndale Control Complex.
Okay.
Yeah, we can,
Yeah, we can keep, we can.
The city owned front complex. They did me, I'll put new turf on it.
Okay.
That was for the Disney tournament. The last one,
Yeah.
you put new turf?
Oh, this-
Okay, we need to find out what happened to Bogus.
What are you doing to our field? What was it, General?
we did this
I mean, are you talking about the Auburndale where athletic? Didn't he put new turf on there?
Did Bogus ever respond to
And the
us?
city said, you're coming back because you wrecked our field?
Okay, Bogus.
They didn't wreck their field. They
No, but that was, no, they didn't wreck it. What I'm saying is that was.
If you wanna talk about this, I'm gonna pull up the Auburndale home.
Robert Bogus stated to me that he played because the referee was wearing braces. The referee had his daughter come as are. They were missing calls. The referee couldn't keep up with the game. He went away after the game and said shit or the F-bomb, but it was shit or sucks or something like that. The referee to write it up. I requested from the referee Robert Andrew supplemental detailing it. He did not have that, and that's what I got from him. So, the code is, did as I was leaving, and the rest garbage. And you got to straighten these referees out. Okay. Ron, do me a favor. He's the club owner also. Please send him a supplemental explaining this so we can see. A supplemental from club assigner and the center.
He wasn't thrown off his
And
feet.
he was not.
Yes.
You look at the languages.
Well, that's just in the record. I mean, there's nothing we're gonna do. It's just been a record. And you know, he's a big, you got.
The thing is, is the club assigner, who's referee for years, who knows after I spoke with him, and I know, send in a supplemental.
Eject him and send it out.
Yeah, you gotta.
check the.
Didn't send him off.
Yeah, I know, but you, all right, well, if you didn't send him off, there's something.
But Bob, with the personality,
And what's the
the
complaint?
big personality.
Is it just us reviewing game
This
reports?
isn't hard to believe. He needs to get, someone needs a Dutch uncle to say, hey, man.
Linda looking for
And this would be,
Oh, no.
he's got, nobody in this country is no good
You're
for
right.
soccer and everything else.
Well, these are things we need to just note that when we
Yes.
start accepting and not accepting teams in the future.
No, well,
I wouldn't put that category where he needs,
that's a topic for refereeing.
I say, someone like Mike has got the credibility to say, I gotta tone it down a little.
Now we got proof.
And Mark, that if maybe next time he is ejected or something, or you're sent off, we can go back and look up.
That may be enough, and I think we all, everybody needs to just give up.
They're required to use Got Soccer to assign VARs. In the beginning, when I was looking,
We're using unregistered.
referees. They're not using Got Soccer to assign.
You and I had one.
Mm-hmm. And I'm using it for the
But
10th.
that's not even, they got soccer issues, that's one thing. We've had at least two coaches, did we not, from Auburn now, who had foul language problems.
For the rest of the year.
Yes, one,
Okay, we had a couple
that
of.
was the one with a child, wasn't it, Auburndale coach?
Mhm.
Versus a 12-year-old, and that was it. I mean, we suspended him for the year, and another coach from Auburndale suspended him for 3 games.
And here,
Same thing.
they have violated their agreement with us because we told them, I mean, last year we were trying to, we actually filed charges with FYSA, and FYSA did nothing. We sent,
There's a certain person that works in the office who's running the league.
and we sent the complaint, we sent them the.
There's nowhere for kids to go out that far, though, is there not? And that is really remote in terms of those fields or the best fields.
Well, these are getting worse. You're right.
Yeah, Winter Haven's.
Oh, if that's the case, you really gotta be, you gotta try and build.
Well, you know, Orlando, it's gotta be something up
These
there.
are the things we look for when we say, is Auburndale coming back in the league?
Yeah, and I think that, it comes down to this, I mean, if we have clubs who are disrespected, again, I can come back.
Coming back, that's it.
Well, did you take,
Respect the league and all that, you
Violated the rules.
their rights to sign again?
A telephone game.
Yeah.
They have to play all the way.
Well, but that's still the coaches curse the referees, might
No,
just happen.
we can't assign them another home field, but we can say all home
I
games.
apologize for
All the way
being
in.
crazy about that email, but he was a 17-year-old referee.
Agreed. It needs to be pointed out.
He stopped that damn game immediately.
Oh, bet, yeah.
Yeah, well, I can't.
They're afraid to do
something wrong.
Huh?
Afraid to do something wrong. Yeah.
Well, kids don't realize they got the authority.
For God's sake, they cursed them up and down. He's like, he come out and,
When we put this
If we
together,
do it,
there'll be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, without.
That guy's not only for next year,
whether they were right or wrong. I mean, you'd be like, are you kidding me? You know,
When we didn't have it yet. Didn't have that hearing yet.
you know, that's the league of sport. I don't care.
All right. Next.
So the things that we look toward, I think,
Well, Auburndale's an issue, right?
yeah, and we're gonna have to address Auburndale as we accept,
No, sure.
change the bylaws and saying whether who we're accepting.
Well, it's Kevin, I think this fellow right here has an insight. He does the assignment form, so he's gotta have some.
That'd be interesting.
We take their signing rights away back from them again. What we did last time when they were signing unregistered referees with an unregistered signer.
Right.
We took their signing capabilities.
But it is
All
people and
I
stuff.
think also, this is where you're coming from, I think that you making a call to resident of Auburndale.
We back in the league if we don't knock it off.
Way too many incidents involving your.
I was just asking these guys who really, and they're saying there really is no one there.
So it's really
You
interesting.
reach out to the president and just say, look, this is the deal, we'll be looking at consequences.
I'll do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I gotta find out who,
It's here. This is all you was walking to Got Soccer, and there it is.
that's all I got.
That's the worst.
It's all there.
There's a telephone number.
Yes, right there.
Now.
There's a mobile also.
Who is Karen?
The agent of record
Yes, it doesn't matter who she is. She's the agent of record.
with FYSA.
As far as FYSA is concerned, she's the boss.
We notify her, forward to whatever boss that she has to forward to.
Yeah.
Her own standard.
Exactly. That is the.
That's the person.
I making a record for my club, and then I'll forward it to the president.
So that would mean, what you have to do is say you can't have any.
Well, we're two matches from the end, right?
Are we doing this? No, we're not doing this now. This is.
Not now, but what if they're not assigning in line?
One more time, will you?
And the last time they did this, they had people out there.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to take away their assigning rights, that's fine. But are we doing this for now, for this season, or are we?
What we need to say is no home
For the
games. Means, at what point do we say you cannot have home games? All your games have to be away, and that would mean that the away team would have to schedule them at their.
Well, when they don't comply with the way that we want
But
to work.
at what
Is this that we're looking forward towards next season, or is this that we're going to rectify? Okay, all right.
I would recommend that there's only, two
Yeah,
games
okay.
left.
So we can discuss it
Let's
again.
finish out the season next
This is a good example of what we've got done.
Noted now.
Always inform the first, hold the president and say, that's
the first step.
That's the deal.
And next
deal
year,
right now.
we are allowing you and stipulations to pass.
Okay.
Who's next?
Okay.
So this game, 10-11, that's the complaint from, if it's in here. No, that's the computer, right? From,
I sent them an email.
you sent him an email? Okay. Okay, so we don't need to do anything, so it's done. If that's what he wanted, it's an email from you.
When I sent an email, I said, look, we didn't. No, but some of this stuff right now is not, it's, very cool. I mean, I just.
When you have games, is that what's happening?
Yeah, this is a fight that happened after the game. This is the game report.
Before you, they can't get out of they're in the parking lot, a bunch of thugs show up or whatever,
We think
soccer pit.
Yes.
And,
His complaint.
it was, bro. They'll show up after they're trying to leave the field and want to fight. Now, they got nothing to do with.
The game at all.
I'm calling my crew.
I'm pulling my guys in.
And the referee noted that the coaches did a good job holding the kids back. In other words, it was exemplary. None of the kids got involved. They held them back. And all transpired as they're moving out of the field. Now, what we can do here, and that's what we can discuss tonight. The one issue is there was no effective field marshal to hector those players to their cars and call the police and clear out the parking lot. There was no field marshal at that point, or no effective field marshal. So it continues. There's another one, that they took out that.
Well, it is
There's just no field marshal.
responsibility.
To where authorities were not supposed
It
to.
is the club's responsibility to make sure that there is a person already from the club.
Until he's gone.
Okay? Here. What I'm going to propose at the AGM is a new bylaw stating that it is mandatory that clubs shall have a marshal present for every 3 fields.
For every what?
3 fields.
Well,
So they got 3 fields going. They gotta have-
But let's not get to that tight. Let's just start.
Okay, yeah. And the other thing too,
You need to get to them and say, look, there's no field. The only thing we can do in this regard,
and
don't Peter is
issue.
to say, look, I don't know where your field marshal was, but we will not play matches in an area where we feel our clubs are not safe.
Exactly.
And we're watching. We're watching.
Yeah. And as far as moving forward.
I don't know where the field marshal was. He could have been there. They could argue. The ref couldn't find him or see him.
Yeah, but even on the field marshal situation, even if they field marshal there.
There's not, all English style 911.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to send our kids down to an area where even if there's a field marshal, if that's the kind of behavior that because.
We might require them to have a police officer.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Or a board member or somebody that has an authority to say, hey.
When I believe you've gotten a fine.
Well, it's like having an administrator at a high school.
But now,
It's a scare, that's scary.
yeah, but I'll tell you something. The teams on soccer pitches that I saw play, they were very well behaved. The coach, I asked the coach about it, and he said they were down. Because of the kids. talking about speed.
And we have a situation.
Police matter.
Yeah, it is, but just like this, when you have high school games or things like that, you have administrators on campus, at the game. When you have a situation that's volatile, that, when I have it, it's just simply a field marshal, then the marshal and the coaches at that point need to make sure that they've monitored the parking. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I had a high school in one. Okay, there was a scuffle, and it was required that the coaches here, to make sure that everybody left accordingly, and everybody was gone, and everybody was safe.
And some, Steve, is too well done. When we started to try to legislate it down that fight, and it was in Northeast, let's not say anything about it, we had his jaw broken.
Yeah, well, perfect. Yeah.
His car from a gang member whose brother was.
And we, but the responsibility of the coach, if I know there's an issue on the
The
field.
guys in Northeast didn't know that was going on in the parking lot. I mean, they separated. So there's a limit to what people can do. This is a police matter right here.
But just civil, when we're dealing with children, we should at least make sure that the adults, somebody to make it.
Somebody has to bring the police. You can't have expect the field marshal to go out into a parking lot and situate people who are not in any way attached to the game.
But you can have a club representative, and it's by
If he's there, Frank.
they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be. A club representative.
There's always supposed to be a club rep at the field. If there's a game, if there's only one game going on that was a makeup.
No, but again, it's a matter of saying that there's a lot of things. I mean, I think we get the soccer pit, and I will do that.
Ask them why they.
And look, the field marshal here will send them this thing. In fact, I'll ask Sherry to get it so I can forward it to them and say, look, read this. This is our rule for us. You, Marshall, and if anything like this continues, we're not going to be no more home games there at all.
Yeah, and that's the deal with it for now. Our team's got to be.
But the players were not involved.
Everyone has to feel
So it
safe.
wasn't them.
At one point, if it gets to a point, you require a police officer to be there.
Well, before I do that, I would say, hey, no games now.
By the game.
We got to have cops in places. I mean, things do happen. I mean, Frank.
Just as a general statement, if there is a situation, it should be going to, a game plan of action should go into play, and it should be noted somewhere that at one
Well, now I have a better target than most people.
facilitate them in the field.
Always the big guy.
I'll get the soccer pit. I will, and I'll let them know. I just wanted to, but I said, I think back to Peter explaining it. If the police matter actually out in the parking lot, we will get to them. But I got no complaints about the soccer pit people. He gave me an email back and thanked me for the email, and I got no complaints about the kids. He said it's the guy in the parking lot. He said it's just dangerous.
That's it.
Group with that.
So what did you say, Paul?
19.
Working a game with a young referee.
So I haven't.
The parents started getting in a fight with a young referee off the field, and we started heading towards the locker room. We're heading out. The parents are fighting. The other AR, and I was just an assistant referee. The other AR, and this was 10 years ago. I don't know where he pulls the cell phone out. He's dialing 911 already. Get to the locker room. We got a parents fight over here going on. We need some cops now. Guns fired, whatever. He's starting to sit down. I said, where'd you get, I looked at him and go, where'd you get that cell phone? He says, I carry it all the time.
Nationals with Russia and Canada.
Yeah.
Frankie was on that game.
Yeah, those guys. So while I was out there too.
Yeah, he said, you guys were watching. It was like,
What's in it?
yeah, whoa.
Well, that coach.
One last, that's good.
All right.
Good work.
Houston, interval secondary players that we did in December. I think Steve is on the phone. Have the phone so we can hear. Is that phone set so we can hear, or is it?
I don't know. It's muted.
That would be this, right?
This is a hot.
hard to hear anyone nod at the table.
We
We're
don't
all
know.
at the table.
Well, yeah, but that was back during the.
Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I actually didn't realize this was going to be on the agenda. As we didn't see the meeting started. I apologize for not being there in person. Regarding this, and I know I've traded emails with you, Paul, on the issue, and I have a response to you in draft to your last email. At this point, I would just say that we are, as per your suggestion, we are preparing a formal protest with fee included regarding this decision, and you could probably expect to get that in the next couple of weeks. Primarily, what we have is the format of the protest, and also to some extent the kind of the punitive nature of the punishment, which was forfeiture of all games played. You know, I'm listening to this meeting and to the review of red cards that haven't been identified yet, and the question came up about, well, you know, players played since this, are they going to have to forfeit all their games? So anyway, that's this. I think you know, one interesting thing about this is the referee involved in this. You know, that to us, and he's willing to come to the meeting as well. That, you know, there's no intent by him to ever add anything to the game report. The second video was submitted through God Soccer. He was actually called and instructed to do that after the game by another senior referee. So, and it's more about the format and just the amount of punishment assigned to the team and the players involved. Like I said, we'll get to you guys in the next couple of weeks.
Well, we can't get told them.
Okay, oh yeah, once we get that, we
But you remember this is the one with the secondary players and guest players, am I correct? And we went back into, if everyone remembers, we went back in to look because we couldn't figure it out and realized that this had been going on. Now that we knew all these games were played, secondary players that should have been there and too many guest players, it was that any match that had that we knew about had to be filled.
okay. So in clarification, you know, my part is what they rostered so many players.
We took this in two months ago, right? Was it 2 months ago? Or December, we went through this, it was in that small room, so we went over, we should have notes somewhere about it, but it was, we examined it, we went through the other to take a look at what was going on. You know, Linda was able to go back through and we read the whole season, that had been the case, and it was egregious. It wasn't necessarily on purpose.
Right, that's what I'm getting at, that it was non-clarification.
But we certainly have a limit of secondary and their guest
No,
players.
the issue was the secondary players were between a 14 and 15.
Right, that's what I was getting at. This is one of those where it wasn't a
But the guests were too many guest players also.
No, there was 3 guest players, I think.
Yeah, but there was like 3 secondary, 3 guests.
Right.
And they should have all been guests.
No. They lined as secondary players had they been U15.
Right, because if they were U15, then they would be considered.
Because only allow, we have a rule that says you can only be secondary if you're between a 14 and a 15.
So, but this was between
Between a 13 and a 14.
So what I'm saying is that they thought that you could have secondary players in every age group or any age group.
Exactly.
And so they registered 3 players as secondary players that probably would have been guest players had they followed the rule.
But then
They wouldn't have had.
And then they couldn't have been another 3. Okay, so we'll wait for the wrong part. But it does, again, I think there's probably even a lot of clubs out there that may have realized that, and they structured it, and it was just an honest mistake. But yet, we do need to look at it in a fashion.
Well, I think we also determined that there were 6 players involved, or 5 players.
Whatever, the total.
So these players moving, you know, in other words, this is something they're trying to keep this.
Yeah, they're trying to keep it together, keep it afloat. Yeah. We'll wait to see what the actual wordings of why they did it, what happened, and and then we can go from there.
Had they not had all those guest players, I think we might have put on
The team altogether?
Well, we would have looked differently at it, that they should have just been guest players instead of secondary players. That would have been easy enough, but you realize they couldn't do that.
Right, they
Because they were up to their eyeballs in guest players. So,
Gotcha. Okay, we'll wait.
Thank you.
there is one more, that we adjudicate. That is the U10 Pinellas, team that
Plant City.
Clancy, Pinellas, the one, we're very clear, I think you guys read it. The incident occurred, Plant City 12-7 in our fields, somebody remember that?
Age group.
I sent it out.
Under 10 girls game.
Give another factor too, if I.
During the game, when the Plant City players got hurt, referee stopped the game, having a referee, a lot of parents come.
Oh, yeah, I think. Yeah. The guns. The cop and the guns, and I'm gonna go get my, okay.
Questions, and Mike found out one thing. One of the assertions in this that was made, and I called this guy. It's 12.
No, they didn't.
They resubmitted it, and it wasn't, two different things, all right, I got it.
Totally different stories, but when I called this fellow, I called Ryan up, and I told him, geez, we got I should tell you, we got another email that says they're gonna call your office and everybody else, because, is there any possibility you mentioned going and getting your gun? He said, first of all, I'm needed to, he said, I always have a gun. He said, I'm anywhere without it. He said, I wouldn't have needed to tell anybody I was gonna go back to the car and get one, because he said, we are without.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
a very well,
the copy carried. He handed it to me once, and said, hold this, I went, what?
the first thing he said, and talking to him first, he said, I hope that they do turn this in, and I will, he said to me, he will, an affidavit of some sort of deposition as to the veracity of what he's saying and what he saw. I asked Mike, I said, do you know anybody out there? And he said, yeah, I know the head coach. He called up. Now, so I heard this was said by the coach that Monday before we ever had contacted Plant City. So in one thing, it isn't this one, that's not a rebuttal. This was right away. This happened the next day. But nothing has happened with the Pinellas Police, to my knowledge, because I asked him, and he said, I'd be glad if you did that, because the weird thing is, in this, I claimed to him that he was the assistant coach and the husband. The fellow told Mike the assistant coach is a teacher, not a. So the whole thing is, this is a really strange event.
I got it controlled.
Both cases, you read it, there's guns mentioned in both of the soliloquies, and then, another. They tell you it is.
Find it.
But the referee does note the other things that happen, so
We basically have to go based on first what the referee they've seen it.
Well, the referee, if we go by the referee report, there's nothing.
There's nothing.
In other words, the guys come to the field, under 10 girls, as black as the parents are.
Yeah.
Well, there is, because they're mothers.
Oh my gosh. And it started with the girl getting hurt. Running on, and two people on
I'm
it.
trying to explain that.
That lesson.
Yeah, but what's all,
Running onto the field, they emotional, they go crazy.
Yeah.
but the coach's name is Aaron Lynn, so it's not
No, this is the parents we're talking.
No, but I'm saying it's also having young daughters, fathers especially with young daughters, the first time.
I mean, it's not a rule, and I get that. I get that it's a rule, and.
My daughter's 29, I'll still want her.
Well, what I'm saying, they're not used to seeing anything go on. And
There's nothing really we're doing right at this point, right?
no, is there anything, I just want to make sure there's nothing we can do given this except to say to somebody out of Plant City, well, there's another thing to ask.
But basically, it started with the parents coming on.
That's Steve Ross.
Steve Ross is at this, is Steve, and you talked to the head coach and thought, altogether, he said, I don't think they're that crazy, but somewhere now, when we asked, Gary said that a general thing to all of the coaches in that age group, 10 girls.
And division,
I guess just that.
just that division.
Look, there are things happen in games, and another person did, in fact, come back and same team.
So they wouldn't,
They're crazy.
they're what? They're,
Celtics that we heard.
Some coach came back and said we had a problem there, and I'm afraid, and I am
Yeah.
afraid
to go there.
To go back,
to go back there because I was threatened. They said, whether you get to our place.
That was the argument too, that they were saying, what are we gonna do, because we don't wanna go there. Like, what's gonna happen, and with that,
Well, like I said, something back to this.
wait till you come back, right? So address, does he address that? I mean, did you went talking?
Yeah, but that is, again, nothing the referee said that's unsolicited.
No, but for the sake of children, we wanna make sure that we're sending,
Yeah, just think, Greg is the second, and there are two wacko things go on, and we're not sure of any one of them, but you is the second one, so sort of doesn't give you.
Because if God forbid something were to happen,
Well,
they went over
I
there,
think that was our concern. Our concern was that now that we are
are all aware of it.
aware of it,
We gotta make action.
now we have to.
We have to assure that, do we require Plant City to have for that game, to have a police officer there, or?
I had asked Frank, I couldn't get out there, but I said, should we go out there?
Or should one of us go out there?
It was the 21st, and it was not a good weekend for me to get out there. It would have been a weekend to get out there if we could. Just stand and watch.
January.
Next year. No, 12/21 is when we, I said I can't, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, did they, so we hear anything yet?
So they played the game? They were,
And then it's not that, they don't go back till
well, that's what I wanna know, when they go back.
weekend.
I'll put Greg on notice.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. Just so at least we say we took some kind of, can we have us give representation there?
Here's the thing, here's what we were concerned about, Mike, is if the assistant coach identified himself as a Marine Corps sniper who just got back from Afghanistan. And he said, so as the Buckles a cop, who cares, as I was speaking with the male assistant coach, so, I'm gonna do what I have to do, That, to me, that's where I said, if you got a guy with a problem, and we didn't, it goes off the track. I said, you guys report on him. We talked about it. You can't put anybody.
Yeah.
That's my concern, is we're not going to do anything about it.
What's his name, over at Penn State again?
The other board member, he just returned
Been
from
notified.
Afghanistan. He was still in the Afghanistan state of mind, and his initial reaction so hostile towards us due to the state of mind. And then he's being over in Afghanistan, could not wait to get back to Afghanistan.
Is he back now? Because
that is where a Marine Corps sniper wants to be. You'll have him shipping out again soon, and could not wait to get back.
Has he shipped out?
I don't know. And see, the assistant coach, it doesn't square with what we know about the assistant coach. Is he that woman's, the two names on the roster are not the same.
I think we need to verify some things.
But put him in check.
Make sure that this guy that made these claims is either being watched or not being allowed to have.
You don't want to
The Marine Corps sniper assistant coach.
Yeah.
He worked with his assistant coach now. Because he's on the sidelines. See, that all gets murky in this.
If he's been deployed and coming back, I think my contacting, though he knows they're putting him on notice, should suffice for now, and Mike showing the concern that we have, because this guy is in state of mind.
Well, or if he's in distress, even more to the point that he's got PTSD.
Yeah.
This is not true, and he's relived something.
Yeah.
That was well, Mike, when I talked to Rich, I said, what scares me is that.
With the rematch.
No, here's the, Pinellas County United 2-8, so the ways off. They've got a game
How about
this
the
week.
Celtics?
The Celtics are not till the 18th,
Okay, see,
and that's,
no, we can.
Actually.
the Celtics on the 18th is 10:30,
And it's in Plant City.
Plant City.
10:30?
Oh, no, the Celtics is the home game.
Oh, so what?
No, there's two Celtic teams on, make sure you got the right one, I think there's two Celtic.
I'm playing, I pulled up,
White team.
well, they've already played then, because the Celtics go, they've already played. They played 12-21.
Okay, 12-21 here.
Yeah, it was 12-21.
Let's score 1-1, okay, so.
Well, that's Winter Haven. And we don't have all the scores on the team, only some. We want them in, so we don't have standings, but the referees don't always put them in. And we have a mandatory yet on the 10th. We want to get there with the game reports in, back to requiring the usage of soccer. And we don't have that yet.
They just got to put out.
No, all the 9s and 10s, there's some clubs that.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, there's some clubs that
That's
don't
local
let you.
guys, yeah.
Right.
That's why we also don't have as much control over it, because it's.
We don't even know if they can by rep.
Right, exactly.
So what's Celtic Florida against on the 18th is not?
That's the Celtics.
So,
But this Plant City versus Azalea is here on the 8th.
February.
Auburn now, 2-8.
No, 2-8. Not
2-8.
18.
That's at Plant City. The game on the 18th is at the Celtics. It's the other team.
I mean, this is Saturday, half of the away game, so just not say it's.
they couldn't have it.
Whatever.
Right. No, but I mean, the Celtics probably, since they've successfully killed on one team, they're probably going to have field marshals.
Check that age group though, you know, there were two aren't there two?
Yeah, there's gold and white.
And I think it was the white, the guy from the white team,
Mhm.
that did respond to me.
But the gold didn't. But I got a feeling, just a feeling that the Celtics, knowing they had problems once, will have a field marshal.
Well, the whole thing will be, yeah, it need to be on alert. I mean, we need to have.
The email from the coaches, I mean, if we just got that from the.
I think we need a verification from the cities
That's
for the
a
top
common game, I see.
get it in writing that they are aware of it and they are going to have extra, yada, yada.
No.
What are they going to do to make sure?
Sure.
Pull that up.
Yeah,
Oh, there's something
From the Golden. Is it was a
Celtic.
white.
Celtic gold on the 21st, not the white watch.
where was the one? There's the Celtics played on the 14th. They don't have home and away games necessarily. They have, well, they might, because there's the white.
Well, that's 23rd.
Well, 19th, the white play.
Right there. I thought that's the first that got to us, that right there.
And then there's a game with.
But I was counting, the Celtic ones.
Mhm.
What day? The 14th.
Mhm.
12-14.
And the today play 10 was the Celtic white. And
14.
14 was the Celtic
So
white.
they're done, so they have another game.
No, it's the,
No one's there.
So Celtics white, the one that said they're going to play is done.
Well, with the.
No, the play game.
Could be the goal, because it's white and gold, both of us.
You don't know which one that Celtic was sent from.
No, I'm starting to see that now, I don't have,
The game on the 18th is a home game anyway.
It doesn't say in the.
and there's the goal, and there's,
18th is gold, they're a
Yeah.
home game, so it's they're
yeah,
gold.
I don't,
So, yeah, done, they're either done or not.
What was the date of the email plan city?
Here it is, Plant City, USC Celtic versus Plant City, 10:30 last Saturday.
what's the date? Email?
Email was December 16th, Saturday. So it was-
Well, we've gotten two confirmed emails from two separate clubs that said that this Plant City
Last Saturday was.
team parents.
That would have been this game here,
Yeah,
the white.
no, that was the 20th.
But it was, the game was on the 14th, because it came to you on the 16th.
Yeah. So this is the game they're referring to.
Mhm.
But he doesn't go back, he's not going back.
He's not going back.
Yeah, he's
The goal of it is.
But what I'm saying is we have gotten two emails from medical coverage.
I do that because
We've gotten two clubs that says that these parents are a little out of control, okay? So Plant City needs to be put on notice that only their games with
We
this.
host them again on January 18th.
It is highly
Host them again.
Right.
on
So they're gonna be,
That's the goal.
Oh,
Consultant.
So at this point, I prefer not to subject my kids to it late in the game. Some of the fouling is dangerous. I don't
well,
think
18
we
to
can
go
avoid it.
down.
Well, it comes down to the fellow's responsibility. Comes down to the fellow's responsibility. They need to be put on notice.
But I think the fellow, you know, with Plant City.
Yeah, but at all these plans.
You, it is white. Sorry, I do have the email here.
A team contacted me about red card that the kid got. It was for the senior season, and it was a 3-game suspension that was given, but, it was not directed foul language. It says in it. Give me a number. Yes, give me a game number. We'll see what the reference.
One minute.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Like we're bogus.
Here's the report. We don't think that when the referee entered the.
Yeah. Not, well,
Because I think what happened on this one, I don't ever remember reading that, so I'm thinking I gave the suspension and
he added,
he added, I know that for sure.
Paul, give me a game number. A new number.
398.
Yeah, that was a mercy emotional officer. Number one. Here's one directed at it.
Not directed, then it's a warning.
No, it's not.
No.
Frustration away from the
But
field.
was he ejected out of the game?
Well, one, yeah, I think he was.
I mean, if he was ejected out of the game, then I think that's
What do you mean, FU?
FU, F-ball.
That's,
Was it,
Not directed to a, not, she just,
it rested. It was up in the air.
like he said. No, and.
Where's he at? I don't see.
Right there.
Where? Using
the F word, no, F-Y,
Yeah, he won't write it out.
but it's F-Y.
But so that's FU.
I get that, but he said word, he should say word, then.
Right.
Same thing, I think.
Because he didn't write it out.
Yeah, that's right, so we're assuming that F-U and not F-ing, or,
I think U was directed.
if it says you, then it's directed. Okay.
Well, Linda,
I get that, but we can't, our referee can't just run up down here. Exactly.
Exactly, I know.
Apparently the child has
You can say
some kids, you know,
F,
themselves.
Whatever, it's an adult.
and how does he know?
Adults can't bring themselves to it.
You know what I mean?
yeah, but then guess what? They won't.
Well, you gave them 3 for a reason, though. You wouldn't have done that without.
It's an awful piece of language.
10:27. I'm looking for, I don't, not so long ago.
It was 7.
Yeah.
It's a senior thing.
It happened at the end of the last game.
Oh, 10:27. What was your mentor getting,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we started off.
Yeah. So, it was the last game of the Burns.
Yeah.
Come back to.
So,
He's not gonna come back at all, because
3 games, I got
not 3 games is pretty much what's left, or he's gonna miss 8 games. Asking if we can
Can we, right, the one game is supposed
change
to.
to 1 because it wasn't.
how old was the referee?
He was only given 1 game. Isn't that on our website? Oh, different?
Well, go back to the website.
What age group was this?
don't you have a red card?
What team?
Looking at what's in God's soccer. Sure that she gave him 3.
Like you said, it may be because it said you or something, because
Right, you see,
it can be interpreted as being
That's
corrected.
corrected.
I can't remember, but I'm gonna say
You know,
that's why I did it.
Well, go to our site.
Looking at what was,
And I just glanced at it, clicked and thought it said that you and just go check that, you know.
Why?
See the site, right?
You know, like, I love that. Looking at the way that rep of that report, I probably should be even
I mean, he's a.
But he said in there, not directed at CAR. Yeah.
Let's put it as, because the referee did not spell out completely, and we can't, you said, we can't make assumptions.
Anybody wanna make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we reduce it to a 1 year.
Yeah, because there was nothing added. It would, if this was changed after, that would change.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Vote, yea or nay, drop it, drop the one.
Oh, no.
Are you sure? Hands?
Oh, yeah.
Drop the one, hands.
Oh, drop it, who made the second? Who said? Okay. Drop it to 1. All right.
Do you show it? Do you show it on our page, 3 games?
On the record, close.
I'm pretty sure Sherry will update it if we decide, because if it's.
That's something we need to make sure we don't do.
That's the first one, I think it's never been,
I know.
These are part of the, he almost died.
Who is that?
Tyler
Tyler Smart.
If I bring my
listed as 3 games, so Sherry will.
file.
So what was it, oh, yeah? Nothing else in that game, right there. That thing all the way, out the front line. No, for us, it was halfway down, so we were talking as hard, usual fun, you know.
Or point it right in the face, say, you know.
Even then, it's not even fair. And quiet, you show a red card, and they quietly leave the field. It's 1 game, you know.
Yeah.
They had a certain, yeah.
That's their 1 game.
Right. I think when you read it, it's FU, meaning, you
It
know.
probably was directed, but it's too unclear, you know what I mean? It's directed to someone. With directed to Chanel Alpler.
Hey, I showed the game. I'm telling you, you get it all the time. The guy done it.
We've all gone down that path.
They haven't even, I've been chatting, I've been chatting with other people.
Everyone reviewing it, the write-up based on the referee's write-up, it wasn't directed, so we
Did not change it, was directed.
We're going back and forth. Well, that would, no.
They'll send you the receipt.
All these are reporting. But you can't look at people back there. Hello,
All right, everybody have your orders?
The other thing,
I like
for the bylaws, we're supposed to have,
that we send the people.
Don't judge maybe 4 or 5 people. Also, we're gonna have to start working on those changes to the bylaws.
Oh, yeah.
What I just said.
Not only in our minutes, but.
If I told him, I just
need to convey that to somebody so he doesn't have time to write it up, but.
If it comes back, I'm gonna be.
We gotta document it, right? We did it.
I mentioned this
in our meeting.
Cal. They said you want to get something, we're gonna change that from the city saying we received your notice and we will do this.
It's not gonna happen.